Welcome to the first ever Left Past 10 presidential debate. When we reach a point where the debate is no longer productive, we'll go to a normal episode of Left Past 10 to unwind.
I was thinking like light rail is a pretty good idea, like light rail.
Oh,
can move-
fuck you.
Oh, go fuck your mother, you stupid. I'm trying to.
I don't care what people say, tomorrow is too far away. We can leave and they can stay, cause I for one am never gonna change. Ever since I was a kid, knobby knees and lots of lip, I found it hard to listen when they told me to be quiet and to wait. I think they'd agree that's just not possible for me. I wanna shout, I wanna scream, I wanna dance, I wanna sing. I think you are just like me. Let's go see what we can see and sing a little louder for one.
Wow, what the hell? That's an awesome intro. You guys just make a new intro for your guests every week?
Oh, we did that one for you last time.
Yeah, we make
I
a
don't
unique.
remember. See, that's how short of a memory I have. I
It's okay.
look brand new to
Long-term
me.
memory
You're the only one, though. Jake and Andrea
Really?
went
Wow.
all out for you on that one.
Wow.
I didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
I appreciate it. I loved it. That was
I did
awesome.
0%
I make
work.
intro videos for
Oh, yeah,
every
that's not
single
your
one
stuff.
of my guests.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, well, you draw your guests and I make them their own intro video based on what I learn about them and graphics.
true.
And yeah,
That's
I
true.
like it. I only do 2 shows a week.
Look at this. Wow.
How are you?
Right off the bat.
How is
Good. How are you?
everyone?
Matt
I'm
Bender's
good.
dad.
How you doing?
I've got
Matt
a
Bender's
smile.
dad is here. Mr. Bender, hello.
That's my dad. Yeah.
Alan Bender.
Sir, I'm frequently in the comments with you. Just want to say I enjoy your occasional snarky remark.
Mr.
Hey,
Bender in the
people always
weeds.
ask me. They're like, "Is that really your dad, or is that like a troll, or like a bit?"
Like,
No,
imagine
that's-
having a
that's-
supportive father. Like that's something I can only imagine.
Yeah. But Matt, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. This is great. I can't think of a better week to be here, honestly.
Yeah.
Not much news happening. Very quiet,
Oh,
very
there.
Oh man.
very chill.
I was coordinating with a guest for my show, Yasmin Aliyah Khan, and I was like, come on sometime when you're free, you're really, everyone is constantly rewatching our interview together. Let's just talk about politics and current affairs. She goes, how about end of August? And I was like, yeah, I mean, anything could happen by then. And then that was like 2 weeks ago. It's like, no, seriously, anything can happen. Anything.
I mean, I'm going away for my one week off of the year, the same week of the DNC, because that's like when travel is cheap and we're going to Florida and things are cheaper in Florida that week because no one's going to Florida because it's like the hottest week of the year. and so we got a great deal and everything. And I was like, hey, it's the week of the DNC. We got a sitting, this was like months ago, obviously. We have like a sitting Democratic president. It's just going to be, the basic coronation. Nothing and interesting's going to happen. It's just going to be your boring incumbent running for re-election DNC.
Here we are.
And here we are, and I'm going to miss it all. Hopefully they figure it all out before the DNC, and the DNC still is just the convention still is just like the coronation, and there's not like a full-blown like fight on the floor, because
Are they going to host the DNC at Cop City to nominate Kamala Harris? Is that what's happening?
I wonder if they're going to go outside because Climate Defiance is marching outside, protesting. Yep. Oh, they'll be there.
Okay, we talked about this a lot last week, Matt. What do you think is going to happen? Because now Adam Schiff is calling for Biden to step aside. Schumer, I hear, and this is all like very recent, so I don't even know, right?
Yeah,
but,
Jeffries, Schumer, and Pelosi, the super friends, they're going in.
And,
I
and
don't
Biden
see-
has made a statement saying he's not going to do that, and he looks forward to their support in his first 100 days. He's already come out against it, so.
Right. I don't see a scenario where he goes forward at this point in terms of, and the Dems win, like with the Dems winning. Like, listen, like there was an assassination attempt on Trump on Saturday, and in the polling so far since that, It did not move the needle one bit. There's no Trump bump from that. So like we like it is, and in fact there was a poll that came out, because you know how the online right at least is blaming Biden and the Democrats, even though the shooter was a registered Republican. We still don't know a lot of information about it, but we do know they were a registered Republican.
But he bought a water bottle from Biden once. Factor this in.
Right. Listen, if you're donating on
Oh.
inauguration day, my assumption is there's got to be like you lost a bet or something. Like, what's the point
No,
of
that's what I
donating to yeah, what's the point of donating to a candidate on inauguration day? He doesn't need your money.
You
You're
wanted a
helping
water bottle.
you're helping pay their outstanding vendor debts. That's all. You're not helping them win anything. They already won. So I have no idea what's behind that.
Also
and still a
worth
lot
noting, it was just somebody named Thomas Crooks. It's not necessarily the same.
No, the report. There's been outlets, like respectable outlets, that have confirmed that it's the same person.
Oh, really? All right.
When he
yeah.
was 17?
Yes, when he was like 17
Really?
in 2021. Yeah, so he'd be
Fair enough.
17 or 16 or whatever. Yeah.
That still doesn't make it
That
a
is
paid
real.
hit, and this was the guy to carry it out, and you know,
No,
it's just so
no, there's
ridiculous.
He's a registered Republican wearing a gun YouTuber's shirt while carrying out the shooting. You have a
With an
bunch of
AR-15.
people who knew you have a bunch of people who knew him saying he always was a conservative as far as I knew him. Like, people went to school with him. You have a neighbor saying that the family had Trump signs in their yard. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna find out. This is shooters are always so fucking weird ideologically. It's never just like a straight up like, because obviously to get to that point, you're not a normal person. But like, shooters never have like a straight up like normal, like, I don't mean normal like a centrist or normie, like a normal person idea. I mean, they never have a coherent ideology. Like, you never hear like, oh, I know exactly, I'm a this and this, naming like specific like ways to describe, like, I'm a Adam Smith libertarian, or I'm a anarcho Marxist. No, they never have
Right.
any coherent ideology. They never do. I mean, unless they're white supremacists, then we know exactly.
You know the
Yeah.
shirt? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny
so-
if the guy was like left behind a manifesto saying, "I'm for open borders, Medicare for all, a higher minimum wage," and that's
We'd
how
all
I'm going
be
to
in
take him
trouble.
out? Because I mean, it's just
Right.
ridiculous to even
Yeah.
consider.
But it's not. It's obviously not like. Listen, I don't know what they haven't. Either they haven't told us, or they literally have not found nothing yet that explains.
I just want to say the Epstein bullshit dropped very recently. That said,
No,
that
I don't
Trump-
believe
I'm
that.
just saying that's
I've
Well,
seen
there-
those rumors. I don't believe that. There's no manifesto yet. There's nothing we know of yet.
No.
I don't
not
The
think.
yet.
most
But-
recent information we have is that apparently he was Googling like depression. That doesn't
I
tell us
do
much.
that every day.
Listen, based on what we know, I was joking earlier on my stream, because I did an hour before we went live here. I was joking
right.
before on my stream that, like,
Little
if
brag there.
based on what we know now and how he was a conservative and possibly even a Trump supporter, it would not surprise me at this point if we found out that, like, there was someone in the crowd, because he lived in the area, that he didn't like, and Trump got in the way. Trump just happened to turn at that moment and got in the way.
You're very accommodating here, Matt. I do want to say one thing about the shirt. I watched the dude's live stream who owns the company, who owns the whatever, the shooting gun channel, but he has other businesses, and he's a veterinarian. And he has 11 million followers, okay? Subscribers
channel.
to his channel. Yeah, but the thing is, I look at these other channels, they all have. What do you guys have, Matt? I mean, when you think about it, these people are running the world, and they
I'm
get
not supposed to
4
have a lot of
and 5
subscribers.
million viewers. So this guy was saying he's not so apologizing, but he says he sells all this stuff. Anybody could buy his merch, but he couldn't believe he was thrown into this because he makes his channel only about shooting, not political. you know,
Not
From
what's
what
on
I
the
under
other end of the bullets, just
Right.
the one end.
the targets.
From what I understand, though, from I heard some extremism researchers that I've had on my show multiple times. Jared Holt, for example, he's great. They said that it is true that this channel is like one of the more mainstream normie
Ooh,
gun YouTuber channels.
yeah,
The guy does focus on just guns. He doesn't really get political. There is political merch on one of his business's websites, but apparently it's a site that allows other gun YouTubers to sell their merch on or something.
Ah,
So it's
right.
just like he provides like a platform for them and then they upload
Mhm.
their
Yeah.
merch, and that's what that was. So apparently this is like one of the more mainstream gun
Oh, I know.
influencers out there.
I've
Yeah.
watched other ones. I've watched many of them, and some of these guys are whack jobs. Holy shit.
I
So
think the
I'm
important thing here is that regardless of the individual shooter, who both parties agree does not represent them, regardless of that person, the world Democrats are trying to build makes this sort of stuff
Okay.
more like less likely to happen. It's more difficult for this stuff to happen. And the world Republicans are trying to build makes this stuff more likely to happen.
Yeah, I mean, but if you notice how quickly they've moved on from this, right? Like Trump literally was targeted on Saturday. They had a few days, online at least. They're going after. I mean, listen, they're at the point where Libs of TikTok is going after a Home Depot like a 70-year-old Home Depot cashier
Oh my
who
God.
posted some like a one-line joke sentence or something on Facebook and got her fired. That's what they're targeting right now because they got nothing. They can't use
Yeah.
this. Because how do you use this as a conservative? It wasn't a leftist. We know that
Right.
now. It certainly
Yeah.
wasn't a leftist. If anything, it was a confused guy who was a registered Republican.
Yeah.
At the least, the one scenario that least points a finger at them is that the guy was a confused registered Republican. Like that, like they can't go with that. They can't run on the gun thing.
And they had that teleprompter screw up where they stepped over their own unity message by reminding everybody, oh yeah, leading up into this event, they were as anti-unity as it gets. So even though they said, oh, well, that was just a teleprompter screw up, they still delivered the message to the whole nation. Remember, we've been rocking the boat. We're the ones that have been making this awful. Yeah, they got nothing to go off of.
And on top of that, like there was a poll that came out. Did I mention this just now? I can't remember if I mentioned it on my stream before or now, but there was a
Poll
poll
has
that
not
came
been
out.
mentioned.
Okay, there was a poll that came out. If I could find it, but it was I'm
good.
going off what I remember earlier today.
I always expect.
Who do you blame? It was like a poll of voters. Who do you blame for what happened on Saturday, the Trump shooting? And it was like the majority of Americans blame the shooter. In second was Trump and the Republican Party's rhetoric.
Wow. Yeah.
This is the
Victim
poll by
blaming.
who? Who did the poll?
It was a poll of like American voters. Hold on, let me see if I could
Okay. No, I'm interested in polls now because all of a sudden I've been getting a lot of text messages from different political campaigns, and I'm thinking, do they use the answers on these texts when you answer back in their data analysis? I mean, is this part of polling or is this just
Great
bullshit?
question.
Yeah, I don't know because they're always asking you, do you do this? Do you do that? I have tried to answer a couple of times, but then they always ask for money.
all right, here's the poll. Here's the poll. It's from
Okay.
it's a Harris X poll.
All
It's
right.
a
Harris
respected
X.
pollster. They do polling with Forbes and companies like that. What is the root cause of Trump's shooting? And they asked apparently nearly 2,000 people, 1,918 people. What was the root cause of Trump's shooting? 24% said deranged shooter. 23% said Trump and his own rhetoric. And then 14%, a whole 10% less, said rhetoric of Biden and Democrats.
And then
I love the
those
idea that
Smith
someone
and
out
Wesson and
there
Glock.
listens to Biden and was like, all right, I'm going to get it. I'm going to buy a gun. We're going on a shooting spree. Joe Biden told me to.
Did you hear him say,
Listen,
listen,
when
Jack,
Joe
it's
Biden-
time.
Listen, we all wondered what Biden meant at that debate when he said, "We beat Medicare." But now we know it was just the code word for this to activate the sleeper cell. That was the
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
That's
Can
funny.
anybody do a good Biden mumble impression like the Can anybody do that real quick?
That was
Oh,
pretty
I
good,
mean,
actually.
he was doing
Lester.
it today where he was
Lester.
just he
No,
was
no, wait,
going,
you-
no, what we're gonna do anyway.
Wait,
He
wait,
did
all
that
right,
like
wait.
3 or 4 times.
Do end with a mumble. Do a quick Biden impression, end with a mumble, and I'll be a would-be shooter.
Go
All
ahead,
right?
Bender.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
Role
What?
playing.
Do a
Live
quick
role play.
Biden impression, end with a
I
mumble.
can't
I'll
do
be
a
a
Biden
would-be
impression.
shooter.
But
Oh, okay, here, I'll do it. I'll do
try.
it.
All right,
All right.
hey, you go ahead.
Folks, I'm the guy that anyway.
Better than me.
Understood.
Except when he talked to Lester Holt.
It doesn't make any
Folks.
sense, is the point.
My least favorite thing to do is ask for money. I've been seeing that ad a lot where he's like, but if
I
you
don't
could just
see
send
any of
$5.
This guy's been in politics his whole fucking life.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what do you
know.
mean?
Like you love asking
Maybe get
for
a
money.
different job, dude. I don't know what to say.
Favorite thing to do is
so-
this thing I do all the time.
So
Give
look,
me money.
August 19th is the DNC, right? Who's gonna be the nominee? Do you think? And they gotta make the call before
Mamala.
Really?
that, right?
Kamala.
I don't-
Team
I mean,
Kamala.
Mamala.
I love the police.
It's got to
Shout
be
out to
Kamala.
Stuart Copeland.
It can't be. It can't be
I'm
anyone.
with-
It's gotta
So
be
they
Kamala.
gotta do it before,
Yeah.
but I mean between Kamala and Biden, but they gotta do it before the DNC, right?
Yeah.
Once the delegates actually pick him, it's over. It's done.
Unless he drops out himself.
Right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, why would you wait till after
not-
the
yeah, that's
convention to drop out?
Well, I don't-
I
it's
mean-
definitely
Well,
gonna
he's
be-
gonna
the
drop
convention.
some. He might not drop out, but he's certainly gonna drop at some point. Let's just, you
Yeah.
know.
Now,
I mean, he just
Bigelow-
announced that he's got COVID. He's got COVID.
No. Does that
There's
hurt
a-
his chances? Do you think he
there's a
drops in the
tiny-
polls?
I
Look,
don't know. He's probably well taken care
Look,
of. Got
maybe
the.
it's a
What I will
way
say
of-
is,
Don't you think
It
it's
is-
a way of bowing out gracefully? I've got COVID. I'm going to have long COVID.
No.
You don't think so?
nah.
Well, I'll say one thing Emma Vigeland said today. It doesn't, she said, even if it is Biden, we are voting against Trump.
yeah,
She does
exactly.
not want
That's why I'm
Trump,
not
and
freaked
neither
out
does
by
Sam.
any of this. Yeah, the
I-
polling is giving me such confidence because
Oh.
all- I'm sick of Elon Musk and his rich buddies trying to buy this election.
This was good, but it's not Biden, obviously, it's someone working for him.
It
That was
is
a good
funny.
tweet. I
It's
liked
really
it.
funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Comedy. They should have David Feldman write for them.
Boom. They should. And also, none of this stuff freaks me out because all of this polling, Trump has somebody shoot at him. Polls come back, they barely wiggle. Biden has diarrhea of the mouth on stage. Polls come back, they barely wiggle. For once, the American populace seems to understand what's going on here. They know
Yeah.
who Trump is. They don't give a who Biden is. It really, in my humble opinion, does not matter if they replace Biden or not. I think they're probably going to benefit from replacing Biden. But all told, the main pool of voters here is people and how they feel, or people who feel one way or the other about Donald Trump. Biden is
Okay.
near irrelevant.
But the shooting brought out some of the cult behavior in people that I didn't see it in, as I told you earlier.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
one- The shirt,
Mm.
the one date, the farm.
Audience isn't going to know what you're talking about, but yes,
Yeah.
I agree. In,
So
in some
Sandy-
people, it did.
Sandy dated a guy who didn't put
One
anything ever on social media until after the assassination attempt on Saturday, and then he posted this.
It's my first date in 3 years.
It's like, oh,
You really know
okay.
how to
What?
pick them. You
I
really
mean,
know how to pick them.
No, I got fixed up and I'm never going to. My daughter says, block him after I put this in our family chat.
F yeah.
She's, block him. So I'm like, oh my God. So the cult, if he did that, other people got all worked up that are secretly.
Actually, it's too bad you found out before you went. That would have been a funny.
Oh,
no,
God.
no, I went on one date. No, I'm not going to do this again. No.
What
Oh,
was
you
it,
actually went out with?
honestly?
I joined Doomer dating.
Give me some insight. What would politics aside, was there anything that like clued you into the fact that he doesn't have a soul? Or all right, that's
he's
too mean.
got a
But like,
lot of
was
kids and a family,
It's
and they
not too mean.
ride
anything off
horses,
about
and
him?
they like. He's a farmer. I live in friggin' goddamn Hooterville. I mean, somebody fixed me up with him. I said, okay. He paid for dinner. Nice. That was it. Talking. But when I saw that on the Facebook, I was like, holy shit. He's a hunter. You know that they're going to be
Did someone say hunter?
Trumpers. Yes. Not
Not in
Biden.
Michigan, man. In Michigan, you have a lot. I'm biting it now, but I just want to say not all, and then
Inaudible?
fill in the blank. People are, I hope, regaining their sanity soon, and I
I'm
want to
gonna
give them a
start
nice help.
using
I don't
inaudible
know.
in my sentences. Like I'm just gonna end my sentence. Like if I forget what I was saying, I'm just gonna say inaudible.
Yeah,
Listen,
and that
when
I really like that show you did the other
Yeah.
Inaudible.
Well, anyway, I told this guy who I was before my friend fixed me up. I wrote to him and said, I am a progressive. I was a Bernie supporter. I can't stand DJT, all that. And he still wanted to meet me. We met, but
Yeah.
forget it.
That's because these people are just like they're serial fucking manipulators.
They're
Like they
crazy.
think that they can fix you. Like
Fix
And
me.
men are eternal optimists when the even the faintest possibility of sex is on the line.
Oh, it would
you
never
could have been like,
happen.
I'm gonna
Oh
try my
my
best to kill
God.
you with a hatchet, and he'd be like, all right, I can move. Yeah.
Well, that's it for me. My foray into dating is over.
Oh, don't let that spoil it for you. Come on now.
Listen, I live in Allegheny County. There is no one here, but
Doxed.
then you don't know no
everybody knows
one.
where I live, Andrea.
What if you find the one guy who's like a hardcore lefty in your area? It could be perfect, right? It could be something more long term. Think about it.
The way you said it made me think of those dating ads that come across on like shady websites. It's like find local lefties in your area.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
exactly.
using a
I'd
dating
love
app.
to.
Never, ever.
Well, the
Must
good news-
believe
all right,
in
this is
climate
a
change.
Oh wait, no,
wildly inappropriate joke. The good news is I've gotten a lot of great left-handed hand jobs. The bad news
Oh,
is
yeah, right.
the advertising on this misleading.
Brett turned me on to a
Leftist
Discord. He turned me on to the Discord collapse aware dating. And I went into it. I'm like, oh,
Jesus
that?
Christ.
well, Matt, my channel we cover very heavy climate, global
Right.
warming, collapse, awful.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they
I
call
thought you
us-
were telling me. I was like, what?
don't Matt
You
Pinter.
got two
They
Matts.
call us doomers, and collapse is I do a show once a week called Last Weekend Collapse because of all the things happening all over the world. It's a genre, but it's a belief system that is based on science, and it's not even a belief system, it's what's happening. So they put me I went in there and I'm like, well, they're all like 25, which I am the Mother Earth, sorry, of the channel. Somebody else called me the Madam Butterfly of the
I
dating
am
channel.
sure that there are plenty
Ah.
of people that would love to meet you, Sandy, in that Discord. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But keep us up to date, please. This is
It's
exciting.
never
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Let me know when the 25-year-olds slide in your DMs. Keep me posted.
Sandy, I'm living vicariously through you.
I
Sandy
have
dating
no
stories
life.
are the best.
Are you kidding? My life is spraying my powdery mildew zucchini with
It's a good life.
I wish I could have
apple cider
zucchini. Are you
vinegar
kidding me?
and bears in my yard and broken trees and wind and tornadoes.
What's the poor man's zucchini? Would that be a cucumber? My mildew. You know what? This joke at the moment's past. I'm sorry.
Inaudible?
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, inaudible.
Ah.
Okay, so we have like a month, right, for them to figure this out, and Biden
Operation
remains
Coconut Tree?
defiant. Yeah, Biden
I have a
Biden
theory on
remains
that.
defiant.
shit.
So
Yeah, I don't pretend to know. Like I'm not one of those people who are gonna be like, oh, this is what happens. That's what I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm saying what should happen. We don't know. Like it would not surprise me if Biden didn't drop out. That would be very bad. But like this is a very winnable election for Democrats. every single poll has showed over and over again that in swing states, the Democratic senatorial candidate, for example, is polling like 10 points or something ahead of Biden, and they're polling above their Republican opponent, and Biden's polling below Trump. This
I
is the
saw one that
same-
was like a 16-point differential between the Senate and the presidency. That's insane.
That's insane, right?
Isn't Rick Scott down in the polls in Florida? Isn't he down?
I didn't see that. Is that true?
Look,
It might
Oh
be.
God, I hope so.
Might
And
be.
Biden aside, guys, that's great news. That's fantastic news. Because that's people paying attention. That's people who actually have an informed opinion. If you're thinking, I don't like Biden, but I do like this senator, that means you've thought about it for just 5 minutes, you know? Like the thing I've been
Right.
hoping Americans do.
Give us at
Debbie.
least 5 minutes
What's
of
her
thought,
name?
please,
Deb-
America.
Debbie something.
Yeah.
Debbie is
Not
running against Scott.
Wasserman Schultz?
No.
No,
Different.
not
This is
Debbie
what-
Wasserman.
Is she doing in
No, this is a
Florida
new-
running for anything?
Vote
She's
Jen
running
Perlman.
against. Yeah, right.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
gosh.
so any fun sort of? I mean, do you want to entertain false flag conspiracy theories?
Yes,
You
yes,
got any
absolutely.
fun false
Yes.
flags?
I'm
you
all
wanna
in.
come-
I'm all
got
in.
a tinfoil hat
I'm all
on.
in. All right, it was staged. None of it is real. All right. First, I admit, okay, it's possible that. First of all, Thomas, whatever the fuck, Crooks, give me a break. That's not a real name. Okay, I'm sorry, they made
It
that
is,
shit
but
up.
go
You're
ahead.
calling
AI
the person
generated.
crooks?
AI
Come on,
generated
that's
name,
too on the
okay?
nose.
All right.
For the
so
for the
Secret
for the
Service.
for the just
Go
for
on.
the point of YouTube, this is a bit. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah,
This is
this
not a
is
bit.
all parody.
This is not a bit.
It's
This
a
is real.
bit.
All right. So
Saying
Secret
it's not a
Service
bit is the bit.
saw this guy on the roof 20 minutes before doing anything. 20 minutes. Are you
That's
kidding me?
outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely staged. You know, this guy showed up on the roof before Trump walked out. Come on. Come on.
So
What are we
Trump put
doing
him up
here?
there?
We
Is
don't
what you're
Maybe.
saying?
I don't know. Well,
No,
okay. I
Dr.
would
Jill
say this.
Biden did.
If it was staged, I don't think Trump was a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
There's no way he would
Here's
ever have
what'll
the
happen.
courage.
You'll shoot
Okay.
me perfectly right in the ear. And then, yeah, I can't picture him.
That is funny that they would do it behind his back and then watch him gloat and be like, I'm a hero. And they're like, yeah, oh yeah, you are, totally. That's kind of funny. I like that, but I'm still
I
not
think they
buying it.
made it all up. I honestly
I-
don't believe any of the pictures. You know, with AI
Yeah,
and
but the
deep
guy
fakes, you know,
died.
like
There
did
is
he
a
get
man that
shot in the
died.
ear or did he get shot? The glass hit his ear. You know, there's all these different theories going around. It's
Well, those-
AI
That's
generated
fairly
photos
typical.
and videos. You can't believe anything
Dude.
you see, kids. I'm sorry, this shit was
course
not
not.
real. I don't even think he got shot. I don't even think guns were in a
No,
25-mile
and
radius
that
of Butler, Pennsylvania. To be honest with
AR-15
you,
Have you ever seen one of those bullets? There is no way he would have been walking around the next day like that if the thing even nicked his ear. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
it's not gonna happen.
no,
I'm
I
sorry.
do know.
Well, I don't think it took off his ear.
No, it
like
didn't even-
grazed. It like grazed
Yeah.
his ear.
I doubt it. I just
No,
don't
it
think so.
It did.
I'm winning.
I think it's the glass theory.
No, I think it's
tunnel
3-2.
Oh, I mean, it's
Andrea.
possible the glass, but he was actually
Yeah.
hit with something. He was actually.
Oh, yeah.
bleeding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Joking aside, the Secret Service at this point,
Ooh.
like after finding bullets on the roof, letting somebody just wander around the White House, the civilians being like, "Hey, right there, right now."
Yeah, it's
They-
the cops and the Secret Service guys are pointing their fingers at each other. What I'm not clear on, I haven't bothered to
All
look it
new.
up. Are they Secret Service that were assigned to him,
Yes,
or these aren't his own guys?
they're probably
Well,
follow.
from-
they probably
from what I
follow.
understand,
Are they sycophants or
Yeah,
From
they're
what I
his guys.
understand,
That's my understanding.
the area right around him, Secret Service handles, and then the logistics for the area that was in the shooter's radius was the local police handling it.
Yes.
The buck still, I guess, stops with the Secret Service, right? But also, like
Shout out to the
Secret
SS.
Service, the Secret Service who, the Secret Service who is like up close with him, they're not the same like level of involvement with the like. They deal with immediate threats to
Even
the president's life. Like that's
even
why they
if
have a handgun. They're not gonna scope out
but
a guy. Like
but
this
they
is
are
on
also in
snipers
charge.
up on the roof.
But those same people are in charge of picking the assuring that the venue in general is safe, like scouting it out beforehand. They're in charge of picking the route to go to the venue. And most
Yeah.
importantly, if they want, they can call the local police and say, "We're handling this." Or call the local police and say, "Give us what your plans are for handling this." There is no combination of words that will make it so that it's not the Secret Service's fault that this happened.
Although they
Oh,
are trying to
right.
pin
Yeah.
it on the director of the Secret Service, the
Sure.
Reich wing, that they're saying it's a DEI hire and it's a woman, and those idiots are
Yeah,
just,
on
I
that
love that
note,
they're
I
using
just
everybody
want to
DEI
making
point
against
fun
out
of
white
the
women.
women. I
Trump's
hate
Secret Service around him
this
now are
chaos.
the people he pulled over from when he was president who are sycophants. And it's not a surprise to me to find out a bunch of Trump lackeys didn't do a very good job of, their job.
Well, did he?
Shout out to
Is
that guy that got shot and
is that
killed by
true?
white
I don't think they get to pick exactly who is in their
The
entourage.
last time, I
No,
should
but
say this, the last time I checked was a year ago. So that may no longer be true. This might just be the Secret Service in general. But at one point, yeah, like the people that came with him were the people that he liked, I guess. And those are the people that were guarding him in like Mar-a-Lago.
right. Yeah, you think
It's
that
true. Now
Donald
that he's
Trump
out and
is
about, it could be different teams all the time. But regardless, it
mm,
doesn't matter if the local cops drop
look
the
it up.
ball. Then they shouldn't have been given the ball to drop. We're
Right.
going to
I mean,
have
I wouldn't
all
trust.
over the country.
I would.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have trusted the local cops to begin with. Like
because they're
these are
local
not.
cops. They're
Yes,
experts
and
in
it's a small
writing
town.
speeding tickets. They're not
It's a small
experts in
town.
Very
yeah.
small
That
town.
one guy, Hawkeye or whatever, looked like he meant business. I don't think he was
Yeah.
local though. But that was
No.
like, if that guy shows up anywhere, you're like, you got me. I don't know what to do. But do you think? Because wasn't it like it moved so fast, and I don't know, but wasn't it like Monday that Judge Cannon dropped the classified documents case? Do you think that was a result of this?
No,
Or
Ken
is
is
she gonna do that
always do
anyway?
That was
She's
in
a
the works.
huge Trump fan.
But
Yeah,
timing
like
wise,
the
do you
Trump
think it was
coach.
like, oh,
I think she
No,
was
No, it was like a
using this.
optics.
97. It was like a 97-page report or something. I doubt she was
Right.
like, "Oh shit, let's write this in 2 days."
no, but like
Oh,
it's
let me throw this
right.
out
That'd be
there.
awesome.
I'm with Matt on this
One
one.
hell
I
It's
of
like
think,
a team.
fucking sesh.
I think that report was written or close to being
And she's
written.
just waiting to drop
Yeah,
it
this
before the
happened, and she was
RNC.
like,
This
"Oh,
was
look,
Yeah,
other headlines. This will bury this. I won't have to deal with the press from this for long. Now's when I'll
right,
make this decision that I was always planning on making." That's what I think
right.
happened.
She released it that day to cover her ass. Yes.
Yeah.
That would be
Super
funny
corrupt.
though if she was like, if somebody was like, "Hey, you got to write this 97-page thing tonight," and she was like, "I hate this job so much. I never wanted to be judge. Why'd they appoint me? I don't
I
even know
used to
what
work
I'm
at a
doing."
TCBY, man. I wish I could do that again.
Has anybody read that? Not here, but has anybody
God
claimed to
forbid
have
we read
read
it.
that? 97 pages from her. I mean, I think we get it. You dropped it, right? Like your
legalese. Yeah,
argument
but
is crap.
They have to write all that. They
But
have
has
to write-
anybody read it? Do you think?
I've read the whole
well,
thing
I
6
haven't.
times actually.
Yeah.
And
Anything
my
good?
summary is
No,
it's actually
always
surprisingly
just
interesting. She
Yeah,
has some
right.
several stories from her childhood in there about playing kickball
How
and it going
creative
very
are
well.
those writings? I wonder.
Very
No, it's
creative.
all- yeah.
She talked about how she had a dream one time of Nosferatu, entering her household and stealing her speaker out of her bedroom. Very, very interesting stuff. I would highly recommend checking it out.
How much legal jargon is there? Like 97 pages
Well,
just
a
seems
lot-
like overkill.
because what they do is they use all the different cases that were decided beforehand. They build all those cases in to
Oh, it's copy and
come up.
paste.
Well, yes, because
Yeah.
all of those cases are the justification as to the current decision. That is
95
how
pages of
every-
copy and paste.
Well, yeah, but they've gotta at least make sense. It's the same thing with research. Everything
That's-
that you're putting together for a new research paper has to support the argument you're making, and it's the same thing with legal.
True, but they also use that as an excuse. So yes, if they are citing precedent, they have to cite the precedent. But a lot of times they will cite more than is necessary and do a more thorough job than is necessary, specifically so that it's 97 pages and nobody wants to read it. It's the same thing as releasing on a busy news day. It's the whole point is to bore us so that we are distracted, or distract us so that we're better victims, basically.
You know what's wild? We should be looking at almost all of this, anything that happens in the context of presidential immunity. Like,
yes,
anything that happens, you could say, what if this happened and he was president?
Do
you know what I'm
should,
saying?
We should come out and say, what if Joe Biden did order
Do
this?
something
Like,
with
no, let's run with that.
Totally
for a second.
legal.
Yeah,
It couldn't do
no.
anything to him.
Yeah,
It was
come on,
it was for the
Republicans.
good of the country. It was for democracy.
Let's just assume
I love democracy.
that Joe Biden ordered this thing. He said, yeah, do a hit, Thomas Crooks. I am calling you personally. What can you do about it, Republicans? Effing nothing. That's because of
crazy.
your Supreme Court picks.
Does it go that far?
Yes. If he calls it an official act, yes, it does.
Mind blowing. That is mind blowing.
No.
What the fuck? And we're trying to save democracy? It's kind of already.
And if you don't think it's an official act,
No.
for the record,
No,
it doesn't matter
Chevron
because you're not allowed to
decision?
investigate it.
The horrible
Yeah,
Chevron
wow.
decision. We're
Yeah.
like, we're going to be screwed if the judges
so
think that they
much.
can make decisions on our health
Yes, but
and our
don't drift
well-being
off.
and our environmental. Yes.
I'm just saying this is a perfect opportunity to reach some Republicans. You will not reach all unanimously, but it's a great opportunity to say, if you find somebody, gang, since I got Binder's audience watching, if you have
Okay.
folks who are rattling off conspiracy theories about Biden somehow being responsible for this, ask them, so what? If he is, so what? What are you going to do? Because
It's
the answer is you cannot do
He's not.
anything. And the reason for that
No.
is because of Trump's judges. So
You're
yes,
assuming that Republicans operate
do
in reality and understand the English language and are able to logically parse the English language.
you will have to make arguments
them have
that
to,
are
but-
excellent, and you will have to make the kind of arguments that should instantly win many, many times before you
Right.
get any sort of breakthrough. But
This
it's
is
not
Joe
impossible to
Biden.
get a breakthrough on this. You just
I don't know.
have to be consistent. You've got to do it often.
What?
Not all. You're right. Not all.
Vaccination
Some are just happy to have a bigot up there, and that's all they really care
Well,
about.
because I
But some
kind of
actually
think
do give a damn.
like if Trump is president and he has this immunity, he would use it to watch TV and eat McDonald's all day. But if something happened to him, his retaliation, because
It's
I
JD
kind of-
Vance.
I kind of feel like he's just going to let everyone else do whatever they want with Project 25, and he's not going to have anything to do with it, right? He's like, yeah, okay, do all that stuff. I don't care. I'll take credit for the stuff that makes me look good. Otherwise, I just want to eat cheeseburgers and watch Fox or whatever he watches now, Newsmax. But if something happened to him directly, his reaction is going to be unhinged, right? Like if there's protesters outside the White House and they
Sure.
got to put up
Mhm.
barriers, he's not going to walk out there with a Bible and be like, no, I'm
Won't
the
be
good
tear
guy.
gas.
No,
He's
they're
gonna
going to have
say-
firing squads. Well,
He's
at
just
the
gonna
border.
kill them all, you know.
And
I
if he
think they're going to have firing squads at the border.
and if he was president and lost an election, he's still president till inauguration.
Yep.
Does that mean he can get away with some?
Imagine a world where Joe Biden loses the election, but because he has immunity, and then Trump can't be inaugurated, get Vance too. Why not? Right? Then
Oh,
what do you
God,
do?
no.
State of emergency. Joe Biden becomes president once again.
No,
Yeah, did
man.
you hear the
yeah.
right discovered today that JD Vance has a
Hindu
his
wife.
wife is an immigrant?
Yeah,
Oh,
DEI
yeah.
wife.
Yeah, the Nazis hate him.
I mean,
He won't get the Nazi vote now. Who are they going to vote for?
I was trying to get a
God
wife,
damn it.
and I qualified for DEI, so that's what they gave me.
maybe they're the version of us saying, well, we just got to prevent Biden. I'll vote for anybody.
I'll
His
vote for
kids'
the
names
DEI.
are Ewan, Mirabel, and Matt Bender. I will give you 100 Mexican pesos. I don't know how much that is. I hope it's
I
not a
know the
lot.
other
If you
name.
can guess the
I know
third kid's name, don't you say it, Sid.
I won't. I promise.
You've heard it before.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
heard it
I'll
before.
give you a hint. You've heard this name.
In the
Yep.
context of Republican politics, you've heard
Yep,
it before.
You've heard it.
That's a huge hint.
It's a name that Republicans won't like. You got to guess?
He's looking it up. Don't
Oh,
look
you
it
got
up.
it.
And I saw that
Ah.
little weasel speak.
I
He
didn't
spoke today.
specify that he couldn't do that. I'm going to owe this man. I got to figure out how to donate in pesos now.
Oh, can I say it? Please.
Let me look up the conversion
It
rate.
rhymes with out on the trail.
Ah.
I'll see you
But
out on the trail.
I got to donate $5.64.
Viv,
Wait, Matt, you don't watch the Majority Report?
Done
You should
bullshit.
know that deep cut.
I
Come
actually
on.
do not watch very often, honestly.
I fully understand. If you're on a show, it's a nightmare to watch it.
Yeah, I don't watch this fucking.
Not even
show.
on
this,
2X?
This shit sucks.
This is the only show I'm on that I watch. This truly.
well, yeah.
And I used to watch my own stuff more often, but it's
I can't watch
I-
my show. It's horrible.
it freaks me out.
It-
Well,
yeah,
just
I agree.
Only
If
when
I
you
watched my
watch
show, I
show.
would just delete my channel.
interface.
Oh my
It's
god.
it's Vivek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's
That's
Vivek.
the name.
That's their kid.
Oh.
And we saw
Vivek is his
swarmy
kid's name.
Vivek at the
Vivek.
convention.
I actually did not realize. I would not have guessed that because I forget that's how you pronounce his name.
I keep us Morrowind players are in trouble, man. I keep saying Vivek like the tribunal god
I
from
say
a
all-
fantasy RPG.
I barely
I
know
tried
this
playing
language at
Morrowind,
all.
but the dice
much
rolls
less
kept
others.
getting me. I was fucking stabbing
Oh.
this slug, and I kept rolling 0.
Well,
So-
you gotta
so,
have your character get good.
What do you guys think
I
of
just played Oblivion instead.
JD Vance? What do you
I
think of
read
him?
something today. Granted, it's not from a verified source. My wife texted me this that he thinks people without children should have less voting rights. I don't really know what you mean by that, but like, what?
JD Vance is
don't-
just AI generated Republican candidate. Like this guy is
he
me.
Yeah, I
feels
feel
like-
like he's just not. He's just
He wrote
totally
a book.
full of it.
He wrote the book Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, I think that was
And
BS too. I
you
think
know
he's
what?
just full of
The
it.
thing about him, if he had such a traumatic background, I honestly think between him and Charlie Kirk, they both look like they have fetal alcohol syndrome. Sorry.
Oh, but I don't think.
It's like
It
if
wasn't
Oliver
me who
Twist.
said that. I don't endorse
I said
these
it.
comments. In fact, I think we're gonna have to put all creative efforts with this show on hold because
He's
of
like-
very inappropriate comments here.
He's like
Oh
if
my
Oliver
God.
Twist grew up
No,
to
it
own a
wasn't.
series of
Sad.
really nasty orphanages, like really abusive orphanages.
I
That's
actually saw
JD
an
Vance,
interview
man.
with somebody today who's written about this extensively on the Majority Report, and apparently he just summered in that area. And he was
Oh, for
not
God's
born and
sake.
raised there. He's a suburb guy and just
Awesome. That's amazing.
not a hillbilly whatsoever. You know,
That's amazing.
I mean,
I'm more of a hillbilly than this motherfucker. I grew up across the street from a farm.
That's such
There
a
you go.
such a fancy way to put it too. That is how we should say it. He summered there.
that's what
I love
yes,
these
like,
motherfuckers that summer, like what, like as a verb, like, hey, are you guys summering this year? Oh yeah, I'm summering. What the fuck?
But
Who the
he's
fuck
just
says that shit?
he's
What a
Peter
twat.
Thiel's guy, right? So he's just it's the money. Like Trump got him, and the
It is
next
Lebowski.
day, or wait, now I might have the timeline screwed up. When did Elon Musk vow $45 million a month to Trump?
That
Is
was
that
like in the
after
last
Vance?
week it came out, but
But it
Why
was
is he
after
giving
and he
him
Vance,
probably has set it up over the last couple months, I would imagine.
because there's
right?
a Peter Thiel connection there, I believe. I don't know, but he picked him for the money. That's all. It's all
Yes.
bullshit. JD Vance is full of shit. They all are.
We
Yeah,
have a
and
question in the chat. Why is the person on the bottom right moving around so much? I have autism, so that's why I'm moving around. You ableist fuck.
Yeah.
is that a related thing to autism? How did I not?
I don't know.
that?
Maybe I'm gonna use it to my advantage.
His nerves.
Yeah,
Oh,
go fuck yourself.
I'm inappropriate.
No, it is. There's a term for it.
Also,
I
I'm
forget what
drinking
it
alcohol.
is, but
Is it
it's
is it stimming?
Yeah, I'm stimming the fuck out of
Yeah.
myself right now. You can't
So-
stop me.
I do it. I move, but I move.
so these guys are all full of it. it's
Mhm.
obvious to a lot of people. I think in bad faith, their base at to a degree is like, no, yeah, no, they're telling the truth. We know they're not. They're telling the truth, and then the rest of the base is like, they're telling the truth, and we believe it
Yes.
wholeheartedly. But like, does the RNC? I don't even know about the DNC, but does the RNC do anything outside of just showing off to their base and to each other? What do they do anything to persuade
No,
undecided voters or Democrats like, hey,
They
these
can't.
guys make a lot of
No.
sense?
They're
Or
incapable of it. They don't
And
have
they
the
have no-
temperament. They don't have the knowledge.
and no platform. They
So
talk
it's a
about
lot of
all their
money.
complaints, but
It's
no
a lot of
platform.
money to let everyone know Trump is a nominee, which we've seen for a while now, 5 years or 4 years, and like, what's it for? It's a big to do. It's a big expense, and what's it for? And like, so then is the DNC like that? Is that what the
What do they
DNC
do?
is doing? Same thing,
DNC's got a
or
good reason
Well,
this year.
they send out information on the things that they are supporting. Actually, I get it. I see it in the mail. And the things that we will lose, women's rights specifically.
It is now.
Union.
It's now. I think the table has been set for this political matchup,
Right.
and the Republicans just don't have the actual ability to play to the middle. Democrats only have the ability to play to the middle, but here's the deal: the teams are locked, and those undecideds or unmotivateds in the center. Basically, it's our job as people who talk into microphones to demonstrate to them that Trump running things is bad, and also to show Trump's voters how he is currently hurting them. I think that's the biggest deal, because we've got enough Trump appointees, Trump decisions made that we can point to them and be like, okay, people of East Palestine, this right here, this train crash, Trump's fault. Here's him announcing that he's going to reduce regulations, the very
Right.
regulations that would have prevented this train crash.
And these are
One town at
that's
a
the best way to make an argument, is to use cause and effect.
Yeah. And the great news, that I think the great pitch for us, is we can be honest about how we feel about Biden. We can be like, why are you so obsessed with Donald Trump? You think I like this guy who's on my ticket? I don't. You want to put him in prison? Good. I'll help you do that. Help me undo some of these Republican laws so we can throw both our guys in prison. Then we'll both be happy. I'm down for that, man.
Binder, Jake and I were talking a bit before we went on air, and I always make the point that Bernie Sanders doing Fox News town halls was like absolutely the way to go in terms of winning over anybody from the Republican base. Do you agree with that at all?
I mean, it's hard to tell because that was so long ago, and things are different now. But I maybe then I did. Now I don't know. I don't know.
Like if he had been
really
president?
don't know how effective that would be. Yeah, maybe.
Now, no, but like from then, because he
Oh,
wasn't.
you mean
just-
like as a president doing that?
Yeah,
I
if it
mean,
had gone in that direction and had been nurtured by the Democrats, like, this is working, we can win over Republican voters this way, and we can really have unity and a good president and help the country if it was genuine at all.
Instead of trying to win over Republican donors.
Yeah, and Bernie was the president. What do you think? Would people be like, this is a Democrat we can get behind, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, honestly. It's a good question.
Crystal ball question.
The thing about Republicans is Republicans are addicted to being fucking stupid, right? So they might sign, like, at some point go like,
mispronounced
oh,
Democrat.
Bernie Sanders, something he said makes sense. But then like their fucking grandma is going to share some fucking bullshit on Facebook, and then they're going to relapse into their addiction to being fucking
Yeah, there you
stupid.
go.
And that's ultimately the fucking problem. Republicans are fucking stupid. That's why you can't reach out to Republicans,
It's
because they're
worse.
fucking dumb. They're dumber than
Americans
dog shit. Like, I would rather like
are
drench myself in dog shit than ever say one word to a fucking Republican. They're just dumb.
Not me.
It's not a matter of like
I live
just,
amongst them.
like I know that feels
You gotta
good.
move. Get the hell out of there.
It's
gotta
it's not a matter of like what ought to happen or like what would feel good to happen. At some point we like there's work to be done. We've got climate catastrophes that we have to mitigate as much as possible and prepare for anyway. And we're going to need them. We're going to need the hands. We're going to need what's there of the minds. We're going to need them. So even though it would feel great to just be like double fingers to 70 million Americans, we can't. So we're going to have to do the serious work of explaining to them why.
I'd rather wait till they fucking die off, honestly, or just strip them of their voting rights. They're just too fucking stupid. I don't like. I don't.
You're right though, Jake, because like we were kind of watching some of the RNC tonight without sound, and we kept going, "What the fuck is happening right now?
That sounds
Who are
like a
these-"
horror film.
Like we were looking at some of this stuff. There was like kids in suits, all dressed like Donald Trump with American flags. They were each holding them, and he had crazy eyes. And I was like, "That's going to be all over the internet tonight and tomorrow."
Yeah.
Watch. He had kind of curly hair. You'll see it. But
like evil Luke Beasley.
yeah, exactly. That's what he looked like. Crazy-eyed Luke Beasley. So this is the thing, though. Like, they are voting against their self-interest. They went from early Trump being like, "Oh yeah, he's going to do infrastructure and healthcare and minimum wage and stuff."
Infrastructure week.
Yeah, and never did any of that. But they've, from what I can tell, totally abandoned any of that. Now they're just like, close the border, don't take our guns, right? And more than anything else, just Trump should be able to do whatever he wants. Leave him alone. He's our hero. It's weird. It's like sycophant for Trump has become like a reason to be interested in politics instead of policy.
That's the thing
all.
about. This is the thing about politics is like I would argue that 75% of people that claim to be interested in politics have no fucking interest whatsoever in politics.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
interested in being a fucking idiot. They're interested in following some celebrity on the
Reality
internet.
TV,
They're interested in going to these fucking
cosplay.
little rallies and saying hello to their neighbors. They don't give a fuck about tax brackets. They don't give a fuck about infrastructure. They don't give a fuck about rights or healthcare or anything. They're just fucking little stupid fuckers, and they get wrapped up into these conspiracies that Trump didn't get killed by the bullets. He's Jesus incarnate that these fucking evangelicals are talking about. They're just fucking dumb. They're dumpster sludge. Let's throw them into the fucking ocean for Christ's sake.
That's right. There were horribles there, Andrea.
Kind of went off kilter a little bit for my tastes at the end, but at the beginning, I was right there with you because I think you're right. About the first part, I think you're spot on. It's not about politics because what they get from Trump is not a policy prescription. They don't get any of that. They get a bunch of culture war stuff. So we have the difficult task ahead of us of either getting them to understand that it is about politics and then have an interest in that, or getting them to understand that they're on the wrong side of the culture war because it's not white Christians versus everybody else. It's rich people and the people they're duping versus everybody else.
Or just give them a Taylor Swift CD and let them go fucking worship someone else. You know, like these, like that. I don't know.
We talked about this a little bit when Forrest Miller was on last week. Have you guys seen Civil War yet? Matt, have you seen it?
I've not seen that yet. No.
So
I've heard a lot about it. I heard it's quite pointless, but I've not seen it yet.
No, I liked it as a movie. I wouldn't say there was like any sort of message there about heads up America. I think it was just a movie, like an action flick. But one thing that I was like, that's probably how it's going to go if there is a civil war. It's just going to be like no logic. Or, you know what I mean? Like as a movie, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. This is stupid. But in reality, that's pretty realistic. Like, I don't think there's going to be like an organized method of like, oh, it's us versus them. Very clear and obvious whose side is who's on whose side. I don't think it's gonna be like that at all. I think it's gonna be like, just kind of like people are like, I'm in the war. Oh yeah, whose side are you on? Huh? Who's shooting at me? Shoot back. I think that's what it's gonna be like.
I guarantee you, if there's a civil war where Republicans are like en masse going around these like wooded areas with guns, they're gonna kill each other. Like we don't even have to do anything. They're just all gonna shooty fuck each other because they're dumb. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
If there was an actual civil war in America, I promise you, 80% of the population would go about their daily lives as though nothing was happening.
I just sit at home and play video games.
Movie theaters
I'm not
wouldn't
going
even
out
close.
this civil fucking war. Give me a break.
Dude, you should watch this movie. You should watch that movie,
They're coming to get us,
Jake.
Andrea. They're coming to get us.
Yeah, feel free.
Okay. So,
Please go
By
ahead.
all means.
well, Midas Touch made actually a good quickie that I saw on the internet, and it was all of Trump's cabinet members, and they showed like Miller, bunch of them, and these hideous messages that they said. It was actually pretty good. It's not going to sway any of the Republicans, but it was just more, support that the cabinet is going to be hideously horrible. So we better strap in and get ready.
I'm going to strap in the sense that I'm going to put my seatbelt on and drive up to Canada because I'm not dealing with this horse shit.
I'm telling you.
Do you think we'll have the same,
No.
we have more voters than ever in 2020? Do you think it'll be like that?
I have no
If
idea.
Biden is on the
Women
ticket,
are
I would be
coming out.
shocked, honestly. But
Yeah, but women are coming out. I know that that's going to be a very heavily
Good
shout outs
point.
to women that
voted.
come out.
Even though even though the Supreme Court has already done so much damage, I think that the women's vote is definitely in play here,
Matt, have you heard anything about
and young women.
crypto going up as soon as Vance was picked as the nominee?
Oh my God, Bitcoin
What?
is going
Well,
through the
no,
roof.
I mean, I don't know if it's hard to tell with
67K.
stuff like that. It's hard to tell with stuff like that because it's the whole market is so propped up that this could be anything. Like just a few players have such outsized say, and the way it goes.
Could be
I don't
literally
know.
just Peter Thiel being like, okay, now make the market go up.
It's
Absolutely.
someone
Yeah, but
like that. Yeah.
There's more to it. I think they want it to be a worldwide. It's already used in countries. Ecuador, don't they have Bitcoin as their national money now? I
No,
mean,
that's
it's
fucking.
El Salvador.
El Salvador. Sorry, it started with an E. That's my mistake.
Fair. That's good.
But I do think that's more of a thought pattern too. Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to Canada. I'm not going anywhere, but I wouldn't go to
Me neither.
Canada because it's got winter. I would go someplace
I love
without winter.
I want to be in permanent winter. I'm going to go to Antarctica in like 10 years. Once climate
Honey,
change,
it's melting.
warms
done
it up
with
a
that.
little bit.
Yeah.
Like it'll still be pretty cold, but warm enough to
I'm
live.
going to Mexico or something.
Mexico is not going to be habitable in like 30 years from now.
I'm not going to be habitable in 30 years. What are you talking about?
That's true. Look at that gray hair.
No,
What's
I'm
up?
not leaving. I'm not leaving the communist state of New York.
I was looking
Although-
at the next
oh,
25 years.
Although
Matt.
the Buffalo news station had a stupid piece that, could New York change? Could it not? Could it become a red state? And I didn't even.
Yeah,
watch
fucking
it.
Kathy Hochul is such a fucking piece of fucking human fucking garbage that she's gonna lose the fucking governorship in New York. Like we thought Andrew Cuomo was
could.
bad, man. Like Jesus fucking Christ, Kathy
Well,
Hochul was he was bad.
he would be
but-
just as bad. She doesn't have a politically astute mind. She doesn't have a mind.
No,
for it.
she's
Andrew
from where I
Cuomo
am.
was a skeevy.
He's like a
operator,
fucking Kevin Spacey in House of Cards type motherfucker.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
No, that's a
Kathy
great way
Hochul
to.
is just a fucking
she's
idiot.
she's very no. She can.
Is this another
she's-
tie being what?
She's
on-
she's the corporate person, and that they gave a lot of money to the Buffalo Bills to build a stupid stadium here. That
You're
the
about to inject
Pagulas-
something.
well, the
Jake?
Pagulas own it, and they're billionaires,
Oh.
and the state's giving a lot of money for that. But then, if
First
you
of
know
all,
Buffalo,
That's disgusting. And Kathy Hochul is a stereotypical neoliberal. It's
yes,
maddening.
she is.
Second, I was going to ask if you guys all want to do some hopium with me.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got? You got
Absolutely.
anything?
I just thought My fantasy is
Oh,
that
yeah.
the Democratic Party will split from the genuine progressives in some way. I'm not saying that will I'm not saying you're saying that will definitely happen, but if it happens, how do you, as people who follow this stuff, foresee that happening? What's the most logical way you can see a split between where basically the Democrats become the new conservatives?
Well, we have to change the way the party system and not have a duopoly. So what laws have to be repealed through the Supreme
So you
Court
think a whole part, like the whole system changes before the
have
Democrats
to,
become the new conservatives?
like what happened in the UK,
Yeah.
France, to have multiple parties that are legit. Ranked choice voting.
Progressives, anyone who's not a
Mhm.
neoliberal goes
Right.
hard for labor
Mhm.
and union organizing.
Although
and
the Teamsters guy the head of the Teamsters spoke at the Republican convention, and he made a
What a
speech
fucking piece of
that
garbage.
they had to have hated.
Oh, they
I
did.
I mean, it was
They
like,
did.
did he go as a subtle joke? I mean, it was
Well, he was also praising like fucking Josh Hawley like on the same
Ugh,
day too. So it's
God.
like this guy's just an incoherent bastard, like he might be good in some capacity, but like I don't know, man. Like the Teamsters giving RNC any legitimacy. And then you have motherfuckers like, "Oh, but this is good because of right-wing union members are going to feel seen." Like first of all, you're a right-wing union member? Like Jesus, like what?
There are. My ex-husband
Right.
is a Teamster, and yes, and he turned into a right-wing clueless moron. Thank God my
I
daughter
don't know,
laughs
man.
at it
Like
all
how
the
does that
time.
even fucking Jimmy Hoffa wouldn't let that shit slide, I'll tell you that.
I'll rattle mine off super fast. I think it's as simple as Republicans lose en masse coming up in November. Like if we actually did flip the House, and if we got the House, the Senate, and the White House, regardless of who gets it, I can absolutely see the Republican Party just collapsing, and then being replaced by the Democrats, and then the Democrat spot in the ecosystem being
So that's
replaced
like the
by
way to avoid collapsing the duopoly? Like we maintain a duopoly, it's just that
No, I
we have
think it's
different
I think
views.
it's unrelated to the
collapsed.
duopoly.
Okay.
What do you guys think? What's the most likely way that we have Democrats becoming the new conservatives and a better party replacing the
becoming.
Democrats?
Well, like I would argue like Democrats are like the conservatism of the Democrats is a very like interesting type of conservatism. Versus the Republicans that are just like they're really not even conservative, they're just fascist. Like they're progressive in the sense that they progress toward fascism, they're not really conserving anything, right? Whereas
Yeah.
Democrats are actually trying to conserve like the liberal kind of world order type situation.
True.
So I think that like that is probably going to be like the mechanism of which it would shift. Like Republicans are just advocating for like mass change on a large scale, and Democrats are literally trying to do the opposite of that. They want to conserve this current system. So I think that would be the way to go about it, or that would be a way to go about it.
That's what's currently happening. So I think it's going about and good. I would prefer just an honest argument with Democrats. I would be less angry with the Pelosi's and the Schumers of the world if they were just out as conservatives and as like, friendly opposition. Like, yeah, we disagree about how the country should be run. And now that we don't have to pretend like now that we've got amicably divorced, we can just be much better neighbors than we were living in the same house.
But what if progressives did everything in the context of pro-labor? Like from now on, everything they do is for the workers.
I'd love that.
Like everything they do. Wouldn't that
And
create
the
like a really
environment?
stark contrast? But yeah, but for workers.
I think
Like
I
just
would have
everything,
issues
no
with
matter how ridiculous they say, this is all for labor. Would that not create the starkest of contrasts between Democrats and the left?
It
You know
would,
what
but
I
it would
mean?
lose out on what being a leftist is about. I think yes, it would be a smart
Pro-labor.
political move in the short term, but we're not just about what happens when money is exchanged.
But it's
Sometimes
time
we're
for
about
long term.
What do you
fair
think,
enough.
Matt
All right,
Binder?
asked and answered. Never mind.
What do you think,
Miss-
Matt Binder?
Mr.
Give
Binder,
us-
what do you think? How do we see this beautiful future?
I'm at a loss for words right now. I've been saying that we really need to get past November to even be able to look past our current situation. Like I feel like everything from activism to even like policy to even like electoral politics beyond the presidency has been stuck looking at the possibility of Trump winning in November, that everything else just been pushed aside. Like the complete focus, everything now. Like just think about how much Israel and Gaza was being covered, at least in our world, like in our political bubble. And then all of a sudden over the past like month or so, even that's that unavoidable thing happening, current event happening, is pushed aside in terms of this discussion about yeah, I mean obviously we have people covering it, but I mean in terms of like the greater discourse and conversation, like it's just the obsession right now is over whether Biden will be the nominee and what happens if Trump wins in November.
And respectfully, I think rightly so.
Yeah, well,
I
I
guess
in the news cycle. We do tend to do that.
It's hard to argue with that one, right?
At least, yeah, at the very least, if not rightly so, at the very least, like understandably so, because you know, any plans you have evaporate if Trump gets in office. Then it's like, okay, we are now the resistance. Let's start from scratch.
Binder, do you think, like, sincere question, I get this from I sense this from a lot of people that talk about November, right? And the upcoming election. Is it scary to you? Does it make you fearful, like, in a way where you're just like beyond this typical dread that we carry around about literally everything that goes wrong every second? But like, is this like, yeesh, really scary?
It's really hard for me to tell like what if it's even like sensible to even be thinking that way. Like I don't know. Like it's
a lot of people are scared.
Like the idea that Trump can win is absurd. Let's put it that way. It's ridiculous. Like that we're even here in this position. Like it is ludicrous. Like he has not expanded his base. This is the Democrats' election to lose. They have all the issues on the table that can win them the election, and they're just to me the perfect encapsulation of the moment we're in is that moment at the debate where the topic is abortion, and it's Trump's got nothing on this. This is the issue that has caused Republicans to lose over and over and over and over and over again across the country. And what does Biden do? He pivots to immigration, the migrants, specifically a case where a migrant murdered a girl, a woman. What are you doing?
For the record,
like
it
what?
was discovered it wasn't even the migrant, but yes.
Really? Wait, what was this?
A migrant was accused of that crime, and then, if I understand correctly, it was later discovered, nope, wasn't them. But regardless, it doesn't matter if that was what happened or it wasn't.
Right.
It's so stupid to even bring it up.
It's even more ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I remember when that happened, I like face palmed on air while doing the live stream. Like, what in the world? Like, how does that happen? Like, it's a perfect encapsulation of how this is going. You have everything aligned for Trump to lose, for the Republicans to lose, and they're teeing it up to reelect Trump.
You know,
and they're the party of extinction, human extinction.
They really are. They literally are.
At a hastened timeline than we're already on the trajectory of.
Here's what freaks me out. I actually thought JD Vance was supposed to be the main speaker tonight. Maybe he wasn't, but the keynote speaker was Thomas Homan.
No, JD Vance is supposed to speak.
Wait, whoa. Hold the phone. I'm sorry.
No, he's on right now. JD Vance is on there right now.
Oh.
Did you say this guy's name is Homan? Right now at the RNC, where the RNC, by the way, which is referred to as the Super Bowl for Grindr. and we have someone speaking at the RNC named Holman. Is that
man.
correct?
Yeah,
I
this is the author of
Oh,
Project
that's such a good
2025. I
Yeah.
believe this is the guy that made the comment about this will be a bloodless war if
Right,
the
the
left
super fascist.
allows it or whatever.
I
They're
remember
letting
Robert.
this guy speak.
He was the
Good.
keynote speaker, so
Of
that's
course he
got to
is.
tell
He
you
will
and
be
Trump
in
was
the
recently
administration.
saying he isn't necessarily behind Project
Right.
Once again,
2025
do
or
the
doesn't know what it's
Democrats'
about.
job for them,
Lying.
and
I've never heard
plaster
of
this
Project
everywhere.
2025.
Project 2025 leader, keynote speaker at the RNC. They are behind Project 2025. Hey, by the way, let's look it up together. Once again, beat the Taylor Swift on the most searched item on Google. Good.
Well, this
Good.
guy he'll be in the administration.
You know, yes,
Mhm.
certainly. What one decent thing about having such pathetic opposition to the Republicans for so long is that the Republicans are forgetting how to hunt. You know, it's like they've been living on an island full of dodos for the last 16 years,
Dope.
and suddenly like they're just doing things that are obvious mistakes, like inviting that guy to speak. We can jump on this. We can use this.
Yeah. It freaks
Yeah.
me out also that there are people in the DCCC that may very well be saying out loud on a daily basis, don't forget, guys, we raise more money when we're not in power. You know what I mean? Like,
I
that's a
hope
kind of
not.
like cynical.
You mean the Democratic Congressional Committee, whatever
Yeah,
they
like their
the
consultants are
yeah,
always
their
like, we
yes,
make more money when we're losing. Or,
idiot.
you know,
Well, yeah, because then they can use all these
that's what I'm
they
saying. They
both
want to
use it.
lose. That's
The
what I'm
fear
saying. Like,
the fear tactic for money.
yeah, I'm
both
worried that they
sides.
don't care if they win. And this isn't.
That's pretty fucked up if these people don't care that we don't have that
I
Trump
mean,
gets
how
in
do you
office for
explain this like terrible
Manufactured
messaging?
consent.
They don't have
The
a
Democrats
messaging.
are the Democrats because they're losers. And it's not necessarily that they want to lose, but they're in that position because they're losers.
Well, not they haven't strategized like for 50 years.
I got thoughts, but I'm sick of talking
Not-
over our guest. I've been doing that a lot. What are your thoughts, man? Why is it that these Democrats behave the way they behave currently? Why are they
because
so bad at beating this guy?
Because there's nothing in it for them other than like all Democratic politicians care about is getting themselves, like the individual themselves, reelected. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
But that's
Like
the
the whole
system they're
reason,
in.
yeah, like the whole reason you're seeing this blowback against Biden. I mean, yeah, there's probably some of them who really care about Trump, but if you look at who's the loudest among the people who are telling Biden to step down, are the people who are in the position where they have most to lose, i.e., their seat. They're the ones who are coming out with force, telling Biden to drop out. Like, just because they align with what we want, like, yeah, that's good, obviously, but why else would Bernie Sanders and AOC come out and to be like, yeah, we spoke to Biden, he's not leaving, we're all for him. They have nothing to lose. AOC and Bernie are in safe seats. I hate to say it, but it's partially what's driving their like.
What? You mean Tina isn't going to win against
They're not-
AOC?
Yeah,
float
like
this
they're not
out
so
there for your
worried about
feet.
their own campaign. Which, listen, I do think Bernie and AOC aren't examples of like only caring about their own seat. Obviously, I do think they care about Trump losing. But I do think there would be a little bit more urgency on their part and everyone else's part if every individual in the Democratic Party were going to lose their seat. Like, I think, Adam Schiff is coming out because he's trying to run for senator. He's not an incumbent in this race. And the Republicans hot on his tail. Like, it's not a guaranteed victory in California. I mean,
California. Insane.
Yeah. I mean, so that's why he's coming out. He doesn't want Biden to be a drain on his campaign. If all
Joe
these guys,
Biden is like Hillary Clinton, but so much worse.
I don't know.
I just
I don't
disagree with that.
I don't know if you can be worse.
Policies. He had better policies than some of them were better than her.
I do not
I
want
do
to
not like her.
fantasize about what it would be like if
Right.
Hillary was
Nope,
president. I
we
don't
do
care.
not.
I think
Hillary is
we
gonna be
can- I think we
Kamala's
can
VP.
avoid that.
Oh God. I'll float this out there. I think Democrats didn't care that they were basically a bunch of losers until recently. And the reason why is because as much as we yell at them, they did win about half the time. And that's all they ever needed to keep this system going, where they have this money funnel coming in. There's this robust system of political people whose job it is to get people elected that's bloated, and there's way more of them, and they're way more paid than they should be because of the way things are set up, until Project 2025. And finally, just then, finally they realized, oh, Nancy Pelosi, might be in a firing squad if this guy gets elected. Oh, God, me, Chuck Schumer, I might go to prison if this guy gets elected. We have to actually take this seriously. And suddenly, they're scrambling and they're panicking. They're like,
long.
polls really say Biden can't win. Oh, God. Whereas you have progressives who were, singing this song a while back, like, yeah. And then you guys you insisted this be the guy. You screwed over Bernie. We knew what we were getting into. Now we're buckling down. We already knew these were the stakes. So I think you just have a self-interested class of soft people just catching up. And I want to stress, I don't care who's right. I don't think there is a right. Is Biden the guy? Should we have somebody else? I honestly don't think it matters nearly as much as people are saying, other than to say whether Biden stays or not, he shouldn't be the person out there making the argument against Trump. Get somebody who can string a sentence together to go out and be like, okay, just reading what Project 2025 says, and that's all we have to say about whatever questions you have, because it's the only thing that matters. Read it off.
Well, no, it's not. There's so much more that matters.
I mean, honestly, it is. If you're talking about, like, are we going to have a democracy or not?
Right.
It really is.
Right.
There's no need to have a conversation beyond 2025.
We will lead the world if Project 2025 is implemented. We will lead the world down the drain much faster.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next? There's all this crazy stuff happening all the time.
I think Biden's dropping out. I'm going to call it. I'm going to put it down. After the RNC, he drops out.
Are we all going to put it?
What do you...
we got a bet now.
I called it weeks ago.
He's gonna get out.
I've lost that bet. But
Matt Bender, what do you think? Crystal ball time.
I honestly could not even. I think we're closer than ever to the possibility of him dropping out, but I have no idea if he's actually going to do it.
Are you on MR tomorrow?
I am.
Okay. I can't wait to hear you and Emma talk about this.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you know this, there's a little bit of a beef going on between myself.
Oh, that's true.
And the Majority Report. Are you aware
Is there?
of this?
What happened? I missed this. No.
Let me interject for a moment here. Majority Report has been threatening the show. Threats of the legal variety. Sam Cedar, with his ivory tower law school background, is threatening cease and desists against us. Matt, not you. Play the clip.
Yeah.
I can't wait to send a letter hack a cease and desist about John from San Antonio.
Oh,
so
unbelievable!
John from San Antonio has been coming on this show to cover elections and talk about progressive races and stuff like that. And he always calls into the Majority Report to talk about it. And check it out.
What's the matter? Letter hack's not streaming right now?
Ooh, burn.
It's pretty relentless, and it's been going on for
personal attacks.
It's been going on for like months now.
Yeah,
it's been going on for months, and so
unrelenting.
On the one hand, it'd be kind of interesting if you mentioned to Emma. I'll be looking at her eyes to see how much they roll when you go. Yeah, I was with the letter hack on a show last night. I just want to see her reaction. But beef aside, I think it'd be very interesting to hear hers and your thoughts about Biden dropping out, because anything can happen between now and then.
She said it today. She said it today.
She's been She's been super on top of that, more so than than anyone I've seen. She's been like
Getting fired up.
He's coconut pilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love her. You could tell her that. I'm with her. I've been following her, and I think she is got a lot of wisdom.
She's
A
great.
lot.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. And she motivates me to think clearly. I like her.
Does anybody else feel like it's just like you cannot relate at all to people that don't follow this stuff? Like it's so hard for me to imagine
no.
how
I
you
shut down.
Yeah.
I shut down when people are like, a friend of
I
mine
don't follow
said,
politics, dude.
you talk a lot of shit about Elon Musk. Why do you hate him so much? And I was just like, I don't know what to say, dude. I don't know what to say. So I said, why
Just don't
do
get it.
you?
If you don't get it, you don't get it. Why don't
So-
you not like him? You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
said, so why do you like him? And they're like, And I was like, yeah, okay. So you don't have anything. But
So why do you
know-
have no opinion? At least if the person's like, I love Elon Musk, I can be like, well, you probably
would-
watch a series of con artists that. But if you have no
Yeah.
opinion,
he was trying to figure out why he should hate Elon Musk.
Oh,
And I'm like,
and you're giving him the primer.
but I mean, also like, why don't you know? Right? Like
it's maddening.
it sickens me that people think he's a genius because he owns Tesla. He's not Tesla.
He bought a fucking company that was
bought it.
already relatively successful,
All
and
right.
then he did reputation laundering. So now dumb fuck dummies think, oh, Elon Musk is like a super genius because they're like, you know, I mean, I don't want to shit on your friend or whatever, but like, fucking, like, come on, man.
I am well,
Yeah,
he's not
money.
terminally online, so that's good. But I am
Silver lining.
I am working on a comic strip. I've written about 7 of them. They're 4 panels each. It's called Baby Elon. And it's about Elon Musk as like a little kid basically doing what he does now, but amongst his friends or like other
oh
kids.
my god,
Well,
And
yeah, he
this-
doesn't have friends. Let's get that out of the
Right.
way.
And in that context, you're like, what a shitty little kid. But he really does this stuff as an adult.
You got to
in
have
real
like
life.
a section
Genius.
where he figures out like the idea for X.com because he's had this idea for like 30 fucking years. So you have to have the X.com origin
Yeah.
story. Like he's
I
playing
have-
Mega Man X on Super Nintendo or some shit, and he's like, yes.
I have X comes up a lot because that's his only. He's a one-trick pony with that. And there's one where, like, he comes upon his friends playing tic-tac-toe, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys playing?" And they're like, "We're playing tic-tac-toe, Elon." And he goes, "I just decided we should call it X now." And they're like, "But the game uses X's and O's. What should we do with the O's?" And he goes, "Just make them smaller X's, stupid idiots." Because every strip ends with him calling everyone else stupid idiots or like stupid poor people, you know, stuff like that, right? Like he's a real dick. But it's the point of it is to make it like it's really horrible and absurd when a little kid does it, but then you just have to think for a second, he really does this stuff in real life. But it
Yeah.
was that conversation I had with my friend that I was like, we need to be able to illustrate this in a way that cuts through all of the marketing and the misperceptions that he's some sort of a genius inventor or whatever.
No, but he does
Here's-
have a
here's
lot
a
of
good-
control. He
oh,
has Starlink, and SpaceX, which
Well,
is a
there's
government
one
project,
where
but
he
Starlink,
comes up.
We're beholden to Starlink.
He comes upon these kids and he goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Huh? Nothing? Oh, cool. Me,
Oh.
I've just been spending all my money." And they're like, "Your money? So how'd you come up with this money?" He's like, "From my parents, you stupid idiots." And that's like the end of the strip. But like, oh, and he's always got like dollar bills falling out of his pockets and shit like that. But it's just, you know, and then there's one where he's like mad about immigrants and they're like, isn't your family from South Africa? And he's like, yeah, but we're white, you know, and it just ends like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're the good kind.
So
and
my
it's
favorite
just-
Elon Musk story is that he would go to these like Hollywood celebrity parties, and he had like aides or whatever that would ask women out on his behalf.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
gotta
I gotta
have that.
do that. I gotta
You
do that.
gotta
Yeah.
have like someone like prom or whatever the fuck, you know, like, hey, Elon really likes you. Like,
There's one where he buys this kid's science project and he goes, "Why? You think my self-propelled or my energy generating turbines are a good idea? And he's like, I don't know about that, but I need a science project so I can win this contest. And they're like giving him first prize. It's just this kind of stuff that I just want to put it in the context of kids did it, you'd think it was terrible. But if adults do it, he's a genius. Just like I was saying this. Okay, remember the submarine billionaires?
Yeah.
Yes.
How could you forget?
How could you fucking forget the most?
He's talking about colonizing the moon right now, and I can't wait for him to try that. The same jerks. So, okay, so one of the guys that perished in that venture, his son, if you'll recall, was on Twitter getting into like Twitter fights with Cardi B. Remember this? And talking about like going to concerts and picking up chicks. And they were like, dude, aren't you worried about your dad? And he's like, I gotta live. I said at the time, remember this person. He's going to inherit his dad's billions, buy something one day, and the media will call him a genius. And you'll forget all about this. So don't forget about this. He's just like the rest of them. He's a spoiled brat, basically.
And also, just to be clear, like Starlink fucking sucks because, like, I understand, the idea, let's get internet where people can't get it. But like the execution of Starlink in space debris is absurd. Like they're fucking up the orbit of this planet for no goddamn reason. And then they're also having the audacity to like hold like, certain areas like by ransom or extorting them, like Ukraine, like Elon wants to fucking hold it like by ransom. Like, oh, you got to pay us a certain amount of extra money or whatever. Otherwise,
now that you need us. Yeah. Just like with California, waited till he had exclusivity and then was like, well, now I'll be a D-bag.
That's our system.
Yep. We're not a great country at the moment. Working on it.
That's a really accurate statement.
It is 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And
how did the time fly so quick? I feel like I was I know I did what I usually do. I start out really hot and then I tire myself out, and then for a little bit I just sit here and listen to everybody else talk. I do it on Leftist Mafia all the time.
We are all awake tonight. This is a very animated night for us.
Yeah, I am 3 beers in, so I'm 4 actually. I think I'm 4 beers in. So
it helps us to have a guest. I mean, it really does. Like,
I'm glad to be here. This has been great. I could stay for another 30 minutes. Why not?
Let me fling one more hypothetical at y'all.
Let's do it.
I also have an announcement at some point.
So. Yes, I want to hear that.
Let's get that. Let's get to that. I don't want to miss the announcement.
Let's get that announcement.
Well, I mean, it's not. I'm not. I'm just bragging about some shit I bought, but it is really cool.
I want to hear about it, man. I'm more interested in that than the thing I was gonna say.
All right, so hold your horse.
It's not cooking.
Does anyone have a horse?
I got a horse.
Do you have a horse? You live on the farm, right?
Yeah, there's a horse.
I just told him
I don't. My neighbor does.
Chill. It's fine.
We've got lots of horses.
So I have a question. Is anyone here familiar with SpongeBob SquarePants?
Never heard of the guy.
Yes, I do.
You know about SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yeah.
All right, so SpongeBob SquarePants is a cartoon.
Yeah.
What?
And the first season of SpongeBob SquarePants used a lot of hand-drawn materials. And I purchased one of these hand-drawn materials here.
Yes.
This is an original production background from SpongeBob SquarePants of Plankton's record player.
Oh,
look at this shit,
wow.
man.
Look at that.
That's really
And
cool.
you can see the brush strokes. There's a lot of reflection on here, but you can see the brush strokes.
Wow.
Look at this horse shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's signed in the sense that they wrote on it. Like,
It's your art. I love it.
That is so
Where's
great.
it going to go? Where are you going to put it?
I don't know yet, but
I'm dying.
This is my big announcement. This is the coolest thing I've ever had.
That is the coolest.
That's a great one. That's a great one. Like that's
this
like
reflection is absurd. Yeah.
It could have been like some like middle of like action shot, but that's a great the framing of it.
Yeah, this is Plankton's first episode. So this is the first episode where Plankton the character shows up.
That is awesome. That's
Wow.
great. That's great.
It's both a production background that's hand painted and the animation cell of Plankton himself. The only thing it's missing is the disc for the record player, but one day maybe I'll track it down. But also, I have a secondary announcement because
You
I
don't
bought.
have to say this, but I'm dying to know how much that cost. I just don't have
tell you later.
an idea
Yeah.
of.
I'll tell you later. I've been getting into animation cells, and I also Jake will appreciate this one. I got myself a Ten Shinhan. Shout out Ten Shinhan. Try B, let's do it. So I've been getting into animation cells and production stuff. So that's my new special interest. So
that's
so
my
announcement.
cool.
I love it.
I've bought some original art, and it is the coolest thing to have something that you know. For me, it was like
they
read
used
it in
the car. I've watched these cartoons for my whole life, and these are the actual production equipment they used to create the cartoon. It's amazing. Like
that's so cool. You're
That's
gonna
rad.
get art. So it has to be kind of like a reasonably affordable hobby, right? You're gonna do more.
I know. If
Or
the
is it
show
like
takes
that was
off,
my-
I know. We're
yeah.
trying to have Matt Binder here propel us into that, stratosphere where we can afford all this stuff.
I don't know why everyone
I
thinks
just
that
gotta
about
pay
me.
my
I'm trying to
bills.
propel myself.
Yeah, really.
I'm trying to buy out the entire
Well, then
SpongeBob
have a
production line. Here.
have a gun channel. 11 million.
That's
Right?
true.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
God, what if we faked it?
I
I
honestly
don't
think
have
that would
to,
be
I'll just
hilarious.
Make videos target shooting in my backyard.
Especially if we went out of our way to like make sure there was no real bullets on set, and like we're constantly handling the props unsafely. We're like, all right, so first of all, safety check. We want to make sure there's nothing in the barrel, and quick dry
don't
fire
Put your eye.
sounding good.
No, you absolutely put your eye down the barrel.
Yeah,
you got to see what's in there, man.
No, you don't.
Absolutely, you have
Don't do
to.
it that
Otherwise, how are you gonna know?
Because you look at well, it depends.
I don't know what that means. It's easier just to look down the thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you guys this, but I made some comics. I had every now and then somebody would buy my art off me, and I didn't know how to price it because I was like, to me, it was like, yeah, you can kind of just
$10.
have it. I even gave some of it away, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is so awesome!" And they framed it and put it on their wall, and I was like, "I didn't know you were going to do that." Okay, that's cool.
The frame
like,
was
charge a
more
little more.
expensive.
But like some people wanted to buy it off me, and then because I would always like do the roughs and then use a light table to trace the pencils and another piece of paper on the light table for the inks. So I had different stages. And there was a guy, he was the program director, I believe, for the CW in like Denmark.
Oh
Really?
And he said, "Hey, you have Hellboy comic art that you made?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. I have some left. Here's what I have." And he's like, "I'll buy it all." And I was like, "Okay, dude, but the customs is going to be up there, right? Because this was during lockdowns." And he was like, "It's okay." And I was like, "Really?" And amazingly, it got there in like record time. It got there. DHL got it there faster than like I could drive something across town. It felt like it was crazy how fast it got there, but he spent a lot of money on that. And I was like, he must be buying. My point of telling this story is I'm not bragging. He must be buying. If he's buying my garbage, he must be spending lots of money on this stuff.
So did you jack your price up?
No.
Yeah, why not?
That's like American capitalist way.
I was so flattered. I was like, "Oh, you want it? Okay, you can have
That's
it."
nice though.
Yeah, the idea of like the original pen or pencil,
It's
whatever
so cool.
markers on the paper.
Yeah.
Like, I know
Letterhack,
Letterhack, you love your digital tablet bull fucking shit. I
It's
don't
just
know,
easy.
man.
It's just
I know
fast.
it's easy, but it's bull fucking shit, man. Let's be honest. That's some horse.
I don't
fucking-
teach art that way.
Good
I
thing you
teach
don't,
art
because
traditionally.
That is, but like just the idea that someone who was on the team or whatever, like, with you and Hellboy, you're drawing an actual Hellboy thing, and that's its own, right? Like just the idea that this, like, someone had the pencil, maybe like sweat was falling off their fucking forehead or whatever onto the paper and then evaporate, just the idea that is a thing is huge. Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get some of
that's
Toriyama's
pretty
skin
cool.
cells, you can clone them. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, absolutely. It's that easy.
That's
I'm
We need
happy
a new
for
one.
That's
you,
the
Andrea.
future.
I'm happy for you, Andrea.
Stealing
Thank you.
celebrities. Yeah.
I thought you were going to announce that you're going to start up Cooking with the Bitch.
No, I got to do that
I
again. One of these days.
love that show.
Do what?
She
That's
had
I
all-
used to do a cooking show called Cooking with the Bitch, where I would
during the
try to
pandemic.
do vegan and vegetarian
Ah.
health food because
I
I'm
made
a
this
health addict.
Yeah.
I say as I drink alcohol on stream. You know,
Yeah,
don't
but
do.
I made the stuff you made, and it was great. You know,
Was
during
it?
the pandemic, Andrea's channel was a lifesaver for a lot of us.
Wow.
Ah.
Every day,
Rachel,
10 o'clock in the morning, and then she'd do Cooking with the Bitch, and teach us all
God.
these vegan dishes.
got me.
I
through
ran.
the
That's the
day,
problem is I just
seriously.
make the same food all the time, so I just ran out of fucking recipes. What am I? Are you wanting to see me make tofu again for the 14th time? I don't know.
Yeah,
The
it's
The
hard.
best-
pandemic. Oh, go ahead.
the best lefty lineup on YouTube was unfortunately like during the lockdowns. It was so good. I had non-stop shows all day, and then you go back and watch the ones that were doubled up all night, and it was like 24 hours of lefty programming. Real quick, Rachel Atwood asked, where is the letter hack based these days? I don't know if you mean like US or not. I am in the US, but I consider myself embedded in South Carolina. Because I'm like a fireman. I
is
run towards smoke.
Very interesting. Embedded. I like that.
I'm behind
Give me that
enemy
smoke.
lines.
Give me all that smoke. Hell yeah.
I'm wherever it's going to go down.
He's
Gen Z,
embedded
if
in
you
the
want to
stuff.
know what your thing will be, like I think for millennials, our big moment that we will understand and future generations will not quite understand, 9/11. For you guys, it's going to be the pandemic. Future generations won't get it when you're trying to explain to them. You'll feel
Oh,
a
they'll get it.
disconnect.
They'll get it. This pandemic
minute.
is gonna fuck people up for decades.
No, they
They're
won't.
gonna
You
get it.
mean the
They
big
won't.
thing is not
And
going to be
here's
the
why.
Trump assassination attempt?
No, not even close. And here's why. It's not that COVID's gonna go away. Thank you, Republicans. It's basically one of our
And
regular
Democrats.
diseases now.
Mhm.
It's the nation's reaction to it. The lockdown, the 2
Yeah.
years of fight against a natural disaster, essentially. Gen Z will feel that forever and remember those days. They'll simply not be able to forget those days.
Right.
But the next generation that
disagree.
comes along, you're when you try to explain to them what it's like, they'll understand, but they won't get it.
I disagree with that because I think most people have already just memory hold what the pandemic is and has been and lockdowns. People think that lockdowns lasted for years. There were like 3 months.
right.
Most states didn't even do a lockdown. Right. So I disagree
Well,
with that. I
let's
think
put
that
our guest in an awkward
Right.
position. Matt, what do you think?
Yes.
Which one of us is right? Is that
No, I
the
think-
yeah, pick a side.
yeah.
Well, why don't you more define the specific size? 'Cause I'm pretty sure I know who I'm with, but let's get it clear cut. You're
All right,
Jake.
thank you
You're in the go ahead. You're in the position of
I'm in the position that for Gen Z, the pandemic will be the big cultural moment that they are unable to communicate to the next generation what it was like.
and
The next generation will understand.
My
Andrew, is your
position is-
position just that it isn't, or
It
it's
isn't
something else?
because most people don't even know what's fucking going on with the pandemic. The pandemic is still happening. Biden just got COVID fucking today. They lie about it constantly. People don't even know what lockdowns even happened. Most states didn't even do a fucking lockdown. So people just people that I lived with during the supposed lockdowns, also known as quarantines, pretended like there were cops roaming the streets. These motherfuckers were going to the fucking Food Lion on a daily basis.
Pretty
which was
much
open.
it's
Like
here
I don't
too.
even like. I don't know. I
And
disagree.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean is that the next generation is not going to understand elements like that. Like
Okay.
they'll either think those things happened or they'll have absolutely no knowledge
Yeah,
about
well,
it
we
at all.
have like that's the thing is that like it's the government narrative has basically said like lockdowns have made kids' test scores go down for 5 years straight. Yeah, kindergartners can't fucking read and write because of lockdowns when they were 1 year old, right? So like, yeah, I agree that like this time period that we're living in is very bizarre and awkward, and it's going to be really hard to explain to future generations. But I don't know if Gen Z is the generation equipped to explain it because I don't know if Gen Z understands what's happening.
No, they're
just
not.
too young to
Nobody is.
understand.
My point is that it's a cultural thing they went through that future generations, they'll understand factually what happened, but they will never get it. They'll never fully get it. Just like frankly, 9/11 was, I think, for millennials. And
So
by the
that
way,
was for me.
you
I had
guys-
offices down there. It was horrible. I had to move.
So you're
these
not
people.
disagreeing.
I think maybe we agree.
well, we have to still disagree because Matt has
All right,
to decide.
fuck you, Jake. How
Fuck
about that?
you. All right, Matt, what is it?
Okay, so I think I don't know. I'm sort of in between. Like I do think it's a moment that they'll remember as a defining moment, but I also don't. But I also think that it's skewed in terms of how they'll remember it. So I guess I'm sort of agree with both Jake and Andrea. I do think no, because it's true. Because listen,
Ooh.
they obviously will remember it as a defining moment because of where they were in life. Like the fact that you were in school, whether it be elementary school, junior high, high school, even college. That is, I think, much more of a defining moment for the pandemic than if you were just like someone who was working from home or or whatever. Yes. But at the same time, I think it'll be defining in like this happened and we had to do all these things in that moment. But I don't think but I agree with Andrew that it's not defining in a way of like a long lasting sort of moment for them. Right. Like it's a moment in time. Like the pandemic should have had much longer lasting. I mean, it does obviously in terms of like people getting sick and dying and long COVID, but in terms of its effect on society as a whole, I think I'm shocked just how quickly people just like, it's
a lot of people just pretend
over.
it never happened, like, or if,
right.
A lot of people don't believe that COVID is real.
It's
still.
a
Like,
cold. It's a cold.
Right. HIV was a cold in 1972 too.
Right.
See what happened with that one.
Andrea, did you read the new study that came out about COVID and the symptoms of the stomach and the gastro?
Oh, motherfuckers are shitting their brains out. Let me tell you, it's not good.
It was. So there's a lot of research out there. I cover.
Like, do you imagine how sick you have
research.
to be to shit your brains out? Like your brain is up here, like it's as far away from that location as possible.
I got a little bit lost in terms of where we are with this, but my understanding is that Matt Binder says I'm right. Yeah. Matt Binder says I'm right.
Well, I think Matt Binder's a centrist.
No, right.
Don't be a centrist.
I'm playing both sides here. I'm playing both sides.
Oh,
no,
okay.
But I do think like it's hard to say that like that moment where people missed out, like, you missed out on months of school, didn't get to see your friends. Like, I do think that's a much different experience than like someone who works or even someone who was going to work during the pandemic. Like, I do think like there are defining moments in life. And if something crazy happens during those moments, they are more memorable. And I think if you were going to high school and you missed out on like half an entire year of your schooling or the next year, even maybe some of it, or you had to wear a mask the entire time. It's just like, I'm not saying it was wrong. Obviously it was the right thing to do, but it is a memorable experience in what is considered like a defining moment in everyone's life. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like,
no, that's good.
Unless they lost a family member or something, or they are suffering from long COVID, or they know someone who's suffering from long COVID. There is no long-lasting sort of societal effect here, and
there will be. That's my argument. Is that there will be a reckoning. HIV took 10 to 15 years before people took it seriously. So my argument is that there will be a reckoning. It's just not here yet.
There'll be like a 5th COVID before this one.
Well, bird flu is going to be the real big one. Shout outs to H5N1.
I'm not 100% sure the depth and breadth of bird flu yet.
Colorado outbreak, 5 human cases in Colorado. Good thing you moved the fuck away, Matt, not the folder.
I think the cultural thing that's going to change, or the cultural thing that's going to be so hard to explain, is that people gave a damn. Because in the future, my nephew gets to high school, he's going to find out his classmate got COVID, and all that's going to mean is he's not going to see him for 2 weeks. That's it. And it won't be like a big thing. It'll be like mono, like, oh, they got mono, so they're home for an extended period. That's all it'll be.
I remember right at the beginning, somebody was in my house, and I was like, "We should be taking this serious." And they said it's just another flu, and my reaction was, that's bad though.
Yeah.
Now we have
The flu
2
kills.
flus. That's
Lots of
bad,
people.
right?
That's a
you're
real
acting
Well, yeah,
like,
just the flu in the sense that it is 15 times more deadly than the flu. It's 30
but like
times
even if
more
it was,
And
disease.
it's
No, point made.
Um,
We get it.
now it's like we have more flu. That's not good. It's like, oh, it's just another nail in your foot. Yeah, well, okay, now there's 2. That's bad. We doubled it. This is not cool.
This is
Yeah.
not good.
It's
It's just
devastating.
the logic was so stupid. But I do think there's something to be said for, because like
We're
I'm
not
around
right
kids
side.
right now who 12 to 18,
In golden years.
and they all are like, yeah, that was weird. It was like just when we were like, yeah, school is a thing that we do now, we had to hit pause, and then that sort of disruption, whether they were like, oh, cool, no school, or oh, actually miss my friends, whatever the dynamics were from moment to moment, it was a huge, weird, like disruption
for
in.
them.
And I mean, Matt is pretty sure the only one here with kids who would have experienced that. But like, it's just, or maybe they're too young. I don't know. But it's a sort of thing where,
yeah, my son was in kindergarten when it happened.
Oh,
yeah.
And
So
so, like,
everyone's
in terms of
telling
like
you,
in terms of like the effect on him, like I do think like, he didn't really miss out on any of like intensive learning or anything, but at the same time, at that age, there was no like learn from home option. Like they did it, but that's not the point of going to school at that
In
age.
kindergarten.
Isn't to like learn math or something. It's to get
Social skills.
exactly social skills, and you can't do that over a computer at that age.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was like just like a waste of like a half a year. Luckily they did go to school the next year. They masked and everything, and they had to not do some activities and changes to the curriculum and classrooms and things like that. But at least at that age he was still able to get those socialization skills in. I can totally see how someone who is older and maybe was struggling to begin with, like it really like fucked with them to like miss out on half a year, or whatever it was for their particular school. At the same time, I think the bigger thing is actually not so much the kids who missed out on school, but there clearly was a subsection of parents of children in school, of school age children, who were radicalized during this period.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
makes up a big subsection of like Gen X right wingers nowadays. Like you could draw a
True.
straight line
Mhm.
directly from like I don't know why specifically Gen Xers, but from Gen X to becoming like Trump supporting Republicans or far right wingers. And this all started during the pandemic for a lot of them.
When I was on your show, Binder, we talked about how I lived during the first year of the pandemic, which we're in year 5, by the way, still happening. But during the first year of the pandemic, I was living with a lot of my family members, and they were like, not really, they were like kind of apolitical, but and then like 2020, they just like Trump, Antifa is killing everyone.
Oh
COVID's a
my
bioweapon.
God.
It's the lab leak. They're going to kill us all.
People
Oh, wait,
went
no.
loony.
Next week, it's COVID is nothing. Then the next week, it's the vaccines are going to kill you. Then the next week, oh, I'm going to get the vaccine. Like the propaganda that's gone through people's heads in the last like 4 or 5 years is insane. I don't even know how it's happening. I mean, like I study this shit on a daily basis, and I still can't even figure out how people can have entire shifts in their political thinking and personalities in just a year or two. It's just it's crazy.
When you
I
tell
love
people,
question for you. Do they know that you think they're getting information from bad sources? Like, do they know that you
No.
think their information sources are
Are you
terrible?
I had so many
outspoken with them?
debates. I had
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
debates with my just older family.
Not about the
I was living
information,
with my
but the
extended
information
family.
sources.
Yeah, I remember debating like, oh, where'd you get first question, where did you hear that? Right? Like whenever they
Yeah.
say some stupid garbage, oh, interesting. Where did you hear that? And then the answer is always like, saw it on Facebook. Okay, who on Facebook, but yeah, right? Like they never, like they don't know where they heard it because they don't fucking care about that. They just read, they're scrolling infinitely on
Now
Facebook or
that's
whatever.
interesting.
Right. And then, yeah, like one time they said like, oh, I found this lady, Candace Owens or whatever. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, how do, so then I come back like 30 minutes later with like a whole write up that I'm reading off of, like, this is why this bitch is insane. Right. And,
Slow it
but
down for
they
a
just
second,
trust.
because
Okay,
you
go
touched on something really interesting there. You said they don't know what information source. They're just saying, I
That's what they
saw it
said,
on. Yeah. So that tells me that from their perspective, they think this is just common knowledge that the people are spreading around. Like, oh, we just found this
Absolutely.
out. And they have no idea that it's like a Russian bot or
But
whatever.
Yeah,
that's
we
what's
just found out that
happening now
Antifa
with
has a military
everything.
and they're killing Trumpers.
Hold up. Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What were you saying, Andrea?
Well, I remember one time my someone, I don't want to dox anyone, but some older family member that I was living with was talking about how like Antifa formed a military and was like stopping people and killing Trumpers. If you found a MAGA hat in someone's backseat, they would kill you or something. And they thought it was
I'm not
real.
in his state. I'm kidding.
They thought it was real. I mean, like it's insane.
That was
the shit
happening. I
people
remember
believe.
there was just the whole. There's a graveyard somewhere where there's
Yeah.
MAGA tombstones everywhere with the hat on top of it, and just it says
And
killed by Antifa. I mean, it was yes. You remember the bus, the Antifa bus thing, where like this like family was run out of like this small town in Oregon or
Let's
Washington
fucking hop
State or
on the
something.
Antifa bus.
Yeah, like it was. This was during like the BLM protests and everything in 2020. 2020. I'm telling you, everything radicalized to the right in 2020.
right.
Like that was the beginning of it. Like
And
2020 was the peak of like wokeness, I guess they're using their terms, in terms of like the vast majority of people were coming to terms with like this country's long history and issues with racism, and there was the health crisis with COVID, and a few years removed from the beginning of Me Too, and it was like things were like all going in that direction, and all of a sudden the right was just like, we can't take it anymore, and people were radicalized.
it is very interesting to learn that, at least in the case Andrea is talking about, there's a section of folks who are getting this not from a central source. It's not because they're watching, I don't know,
Well, it's a
Crowder
central
constantly.
source in the sense that like all of the shit that they're reading is funded by like the same right-wing billionaire networks.
Yes, but it's not coming from the same like news.
Yeah,
outlet
like they
keep
interpret
referring
it
to.
as
Yeah.
like they're like the way that they interact with this information is like, they see fucking some random post on Facebook. Oh, this is equivalent to like the highest credentialed government agency, scientific agency in the world. Yeah, it's.
yeah,
I
but
gotta mull this
nobody
over,
trusts
'cause
anybody anymore.
There's a strategy to be pursued here. I gotta mull it over some. Thank you for that insight.
What I was saying though, like, look at how people just sort of snapped when they were told you can't go out for a month or 3 months. It was like if we just locked down for 3 months,
Freedom.
we could beat this thing and go back to normal. And it was like a matter of weeks, and people were like, "Ah," went
That's
crazy.
the thing is, if people actually did a fucking proper lockdown or quarantine and wore fucking respirators, N95, P100s, COVID would be gone. The flu, gone. All it would take is like 2 months. If every human on fucking Earth took this shit seriously, we could fucking eliminate it in 2 months.
So
But
no one
humans are
behaved like
fucking
Republicans
stupid.
for 2
They're
months. Yeah.
selfish. They want to go to the parties. They want to go to the restaurants. They want to go see Taylor Swift for the 48th fucking time. And they just like, it makes me insane. It really does.
So now think of like,
Hey, I get the Taylor Swift thing, honestly. So.
yeah. Okay. But think about how kids are being told, like, at that impressionable, not even impressionable, just in the hands of adults saying, this is how life is. Here's your routine. You're doing it because if you don't listen to me, it's a matter of survival for you at this age. And then, oops, stop. Even the adults don't know what to do.
Right.
I really think that's interesting. So these kids, not that the adults don't know what to do, but we're sort of like, we have to stop, hit reset, and figure some stuff out. This is new territory. And the kids are like, oh, well, I'm in your hands. So it's like when Superman grabs Lois Lane and he's like, don't worry, I got you. And she says, yeah, but who's got you, right? Like, how is this happening? So there's a whole like, don't worry, I can fly. I'll carry you analogy where the kids are like, I'm in your hands for better or worse. And then because of arguments and debates and politicians using this to their own advantage, we're going back to the way it was. Seems risky. We're all wearing masks. We're all taking precautions. Some of us will learn that we have to do things for the greater good. Others will be radicalized through our parents because they're saying it's all conspiracy theories, this or that. I think that's really interesting, though, that we don't look at, or the majority of people didn't look at it from that point of view at the time. Like, we are guiding our children. We are guiding next generations. We always scream, what about the kids? And then you don't
There's
really
6
care about the
million
kids.
children in the United States. 6 fucking million that have long COVID. 6 million children have
million?
long COVID because adults failed them. They sent them to public schools with horrible air ventilation, told them to take your mask off, told them it's just a cold. 6 million kids permanently disabled, at least for now. There's no cure. Like, the adults in the room, it's insufferable that we're doing this to kids. I mean, it drives me insane. I don't even have kids, but it
just
drives
that
me insane.
moment where I just can't imagine what it would have been like. And I guess you kind of roll with it when you're a kid, but just that moment where you're like, okay, what are we doing? We're stopping everything, and you don't know what our next move is.
Yeah.
Mom's
because
washing
kids don't
all
have,
the groceries
they don't have
or
the
whatever
ability to like
for
form
a
their
day.
own version of the universe. So like they're completely, as you said, Letterhack, they're completely at the whim of the adults in the room, the teachers, the parents, and all that. Right? Like when you're 7 years old, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You have no fucking clue. Like when I was 7, I had no fucking idea what was going on. I had a chronic illness when I was a kid. All I thought was I was broken. Like something about me is wrong. I'm a bad person or whatever. Right? You don't know what's going on.
I mean, you are, but that's unrelated. Yeah.
That, of course. Right? But like, and parents as a group, and like the adults in the room, the politicians that make all these decisions, right? They're just enforcing their beliefs, right or wrong, on the kids. And if they're wrong, which with COVID, all of the shit that we've seen in the last 2 years, completely wrong. Taking your mask off, wrong. Sending kids to public schools that don't have air conditioning, don't have HVAC system, completely wrong, right? But like kids are interpreting this, the adults in the room are telling me to do this. It must be correct. It must be, like putting lead in the gasoline and breathing in the leaded gasoline air must be the right thing to do. Lead in the paint and then, must be the right thing to do because the adults did it. And then that's what, it's the cycle of generational, like people grow up and they think they trust the adults to be there for them. And then the adults fail them constantly. Then they become the adults. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And then they have another generation of kids. They do the same thing to their kids. And we're just doing this ad nauseum in an infinite loop, it seems.
I was working with I was working with a handyman, and I thought for sure he had been like affected, like his brain, because he had a list of 6 jobs and he did 1, 3, and 5. And I was like, "What about the other ones?" And he was like, "I only do odd jobs." But for a minute there, I thought it was his.
I hate you.
COVID.
We knew you were gonna.
And I wasn't sure if maybe he was having like a glitch,
I did
or
not
if it was just a dad joke.
God damn it!
All right, it broke the.
God
it broke. It's 12 o'clock. That was like,
We all joined in solidarity and boycotting Matt for a moment here.
That was perfect timing. Yeah.
I just had to.
Well, that said, like, let's bring back like the Joe Biden just got COVID. He's 9,000 years old. I don't know what the fuck his age is. Right?
81.
COVID is documented to accelerate dementia. We all know he has dementia. It accelerates cancer, right? Like, who knows what the fuck's going on in his body? It accelerates all neurological decay, like, all that kind, cognitive decline of any kind, reaction time, the ability to think about anything, right? This motherfucker's a dead man walking, right? If he's gotten COVID, they said he had a cold during the first debate with Donald Trump. Who knows if that was just a COVID infection? He got reinfected 2 weeks later. Right, this motherfucker's a dead man walking. Like, you cannot be 81 years old walking around all the time, running around the like country or to state doing all these rallies, get COVID, and then be completely fine unless you have some magical miracle drugs, which of course they have.
No.
The regular Americans, they don't have miracle drugs. It costs $200 to get a fucking vaccine. Only 19% of Americans get the vaccines. Like, how much money does like all this fucking super expensive treatments get? The average American doesn't get shit, you know?
Got it for 40, but yeah.
Mm.
That fair point. Fair point.
Yeah.
12:02
Just to
a.m.
jump back in here, I had to get a drink. I was really thirsty and I ran out of a drink.
Oh, no worries.
But just to jump back in here, it is quite amazing though. Like what a moment today when just like what was it like 3 hours before that announcement that Biden had tested positive for COVID. He said something. What was it? Something like I'll drop out of the race if I'm diagnosed with a medical condition.
He did say that.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
He also
He
tested positive on like a rapid test, and rapid tests are notoriously inaccurate. There's like over 50% false negative rates for rapid tests. So if you're testing positive on a rapid test, you're probably over a week of being symptomatic. 60% of COVID transmission is asymptomatic. You don't even know you have COVID, right?
Has Lester Holt
He's
been
probably just been
tested?
spreading COVID. He probably gave COVID to Donald Trump, but then again,
Lester
COVID.
Holt.
Donald Trump had COVID during the first debate, 4 years ago. So hey, he got revenge or whatever. But it's like,
Oh my
I
God.
just, the fact that these are our leaders, man, it drives me insane.
It is
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like this is where we're at right now. I mean,
Yep.
I'm honestly like
It's a twilight
I'm at a
zone.
loss for words sometimes.
And
Yeah.
use the fact-
What are we
use
doing?
the fact that
What are we doing?
we're doing
Donald
crazy
Trump
things.
is-
We use the fact of energy independence like it's such a great thing that we're pumping more oil than we ever have before. Yet my state is getting ravaged by tornadoes, which is not typical. I mean, this is happening. It's happening. It's exacerbated.
It's fucking hot as hell, and it's
Yeah,
fucking
my
midnight.
least,
Like,
my
give me a
least
break.
favorite saying is when people are like, "This is unprecedented." I'm like, just
It's
get over it.
not.
All this shit can happen at any time. Just move
Yeah.
along with it, okay? Stop arguing. Stop making excuses for why you don't know how to comment on it, and just sit there going, "Well, new shit happening, folks.
All right.
Just pile it on." Right? That should be the topic. Is that we're just piling everything on top of everything, and oh my God, that's why I'm like, let's sit here and just take a wild guess what's going to happen tomorrow.
Biden's
Volcano?
gonna fucking
I have
fall
a
down the
doctor's
airplane steps
appointment.
again and die.
I know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm
It's gonna be
driving to
like-
Buffalo.
I'm just saying anything can
I
happen.
know.
It's, remember the Mickey Mouse Club? Anything can happen day?
the
That's
news
every day.
cycle, the news cycle moves so fast because of social media.
It's because
Like,
everything
it's
just keeps happening and there's no one hitting the brakes. They lean
know if you
into
remember-
it. They press
I don't know if
the
you're
Driving
gas.
off the cliff, and not even that. We've already driven off the cliff,
Right.
and it's in slow motion, and we're just
That's right,
staring
we're-
at the fucking bottom of the trench, just waiting to fucking blow up in a burst of
Thelma
flames.
and Louise.
And there's nothing we
baby.
can do. What are you gonna do? Jump out of the car? We're in the middle of the fucking. We're gravitational free fall. There's nothing you can do. Where it's already over.
Woo,
You know.
she said it. That's a
Hey,
video
Matt.
I've made many times alluding
Yeah.
to. You know.
Yeah, Matt Bender. I'm sorry.
What's up?
Do you want to see my impression of Joe Biden when he's given a chance to
Here we
debate
go.
Donald Trump
It's
an extra
happening.
time?
It's happening.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Yeah, classic Jake's it. Jake's
It's a,
it.
That
we
was-
call it the
See ya,
Jake.
Jake.
Yep.
He'll be in
That
the
was
chat, don't worry.
unexpected.
Yeah. Well, you'll get used to it. Okay. I have an early day tomorrow.
Me
Oh,
too.
we're
Uh-oh.
wrapping up.
Me too.
No, that's good because
You
I'm
got to read
feeling,
super chats.
I'm feeling exhausted
got
too.
super
I
I'll
didn't
tell you.
get any, but I got them last night, so I'm happy.
I'll just read them all.
But
Oh,
also,
wow.
just before Matthew Folder leaves, thank you for coming on the program. We appreciate you having.
No,
the
it's
time
always
for
my
us?
pleasure. I like I said earlier, I feel bad because I did that thing I always do when the show starts. The first like 15, 20 minutes, I don't shut up. I'm all hyped up.
I'm
And
the
then I wear my
opposite.
We
Yeah.
Yeah.
love it. We love it.
And then I wear myself
I'm the
out.
complete
I-
opposite. I have to wait until I rev up.
Yeah,
No,
and
no,
I
no.
usually
I,
I'm like you. I get it all out in the beginning.
Bender, it's such an honor to have you on the show. You're so cool.
No,
man.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come on anytime, and I'm gonna train myself to pace myself. So like, no,
Okay.
hold on, 5-minute burst here. Wait a little bit, let other people get a word in. All right, 5-minute burst here. All right, wait, pause it. Don't get too tired, and that way I'll spread the energy throughout the night.
All right. So you're going to have your own behavioral modification program going.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Oh, I don't know what currency this is. Do you guys?
CLP.
CLP.
Oh,
Sounds
it's
good to me.
Chilean, Chilean peso.
Oh, okay. Right on. Dark, gritty, headed towards the mega Reichsland. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
here's some more from Thomas Jerome Newton. Maybe Sirhan due to Palestine.
I doubt it.
I don't know. I hope not. Let's hope not. People had to die for the kayfabe to work. Oh, this is in regards
Kayfabe,
to
it's a
our
wrestling term.
yeah, our
kayfabe.
conspiracy.
Yep.
Oh, check it out.
Oh
Rowdy
boy.
Roddy Piper.
Oh, I just
On-
realized I honestly sitting here the whole time and did not realize you were wearing that.
On the back it says born villain. Okay.
That's a really cool
and I
hoodie.
had my Ultimate Warrior shirt on. I didn't even realize I was doing this. I got all my wrestling gear on.
Well,
tonight.
you had to hide that one because it's not very progressive to wear an Ultimate Warrior shirt. No, I'm joking.
He made comics. He wrote comics. More. Wow. I
Yeah, Renee's
don't know.
a super chat beast. This is a regular caller on my show, Renee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His ear would have flew off to Mexico and landed on a taco with that caliber.
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know.
Charlie Kirk, a failed attempt to clone Tom Cruise. Oh,
Oh,
and then
no.
some.
Oh,
Here's
no.
one actual
Good.
friend
I
of
like
the
this person.
friend of all the shows. I'm
Hey.
not
Don't let
leaving
Sam
the US.
Cedar find out that this is a friend of the show.
They're trapped here with me. See, that's a reference
Kowalski.
to Watchmen. Rorschach goes to
Yeah.
prison, and he goes, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. And it's like, yikes. But
The way
yeah,
I love the way that
I like
motherfucker talks. You know, like I know it's edgy on purpose, but like that's just my shit, man.
Yeah, I do like that
shit.
idea that this is, you know what? Fuck, man. This is my country. That's how I look at it. Central Park 5 writ large.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Dave Marvin, $10. Was watching RNC coverage over on MR. Matt, that stands for Majority Report. Just so you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I noticed
Well,
that.
it's MR period, which means Mr. Actually,
That's just the end of the sentence. I noticed that
This is- I
JD
don't know.
mentioned fighting for workers, union and non-union. Can you give your take on them trying to appear to be the party for workers? They will say anything, right?
Of course. Yes.
They're also
they're
going to
not
do
gonna-
healthcare. It's going to be big and beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Sure. Just
It,
like
it was
the-
it was
yeah.
it was it was
And
it
we're
was
gonna have
reported
H2O.
before. It was reported before the speech that he was going to focus on working class rhetoric, and it's bullshit coming from that guy. Please, he is a whole because of that book he wrote, Hillbilly Elegy, whatever it's
now
called.
on Netflix.
Yeah, and then the movie. Apparently, I was reading this. I don't know. I have to look more into it, but apparently, one of the things that radicalized him to the right, because I don't know if you recall, but J.D. Vance was an anti-Trumper at first. You've probably seen.
Oh, yeah.
He's
the
Hitler.
messages of him
That's what he
going
said. He
around.
called Trump Hitler.
He called,
He's
he
heroin
called
to
Trump.
the US.
He called Trump America's Hitler.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
apparently, according to the report I was reading, when that movie based on his book came out and it got critically panned, all the media outlets, the movie reviewers, they gave it bad reviews. That apparently was a radicalizing moment for him.
Wow.
And that is one of the reasons
Really?
why he went on this liberal, anti-left, pro-Trump, far-right thing. And it's amazing because once again, if this report is accurate,
Oh shit.
once again, someone gets radicalized to the right because they had hopes and dreams of Hollywood aspirations, big book publisher fortunes,
The Ben
TV
Shapiro.
show hopes, screenwriting aspirations. Once again, that's what turns them into a rabid right winger. The inability to have the talent or ability to make it in the entertainment business, in the media industry. And it makes them absolutely fucking furious at everyone but themselves. And because those industries are usually, pegged as being more liberal or left leaning, they blame liberals or the left for their inability to make it in those industries. It's amazing. It's amazing. Almost
The
every
B plan.
influencer you could tie it to. Almost every right-wing influencer you could tie this to. Even the non right-wingers. Look at Jerry Seinfeld. One of the reasons he's been going on this anti-left, anti-cancel culture thing, it all stems back from an interview he gave a couple of years ago, even before this is well before October when 7th, where now he's like super pro-Israel, anti-Palestine, and anti-Palestinian activists. Well before this, we're going back maybe even a decade. He did some comedy club routine about some like
gay French kings.
Yes,
right?
thank you. Gay French king. And he did this routine at a college campus show he was doing, and it bombed because it's just a lame sort of, it was a lame, out of date, not funny, not original joke. And he constantly would tell that story about how, like, this is showing you that not that I had an unoriginal joke and bombed, but to Jerry Seinfeld, it was an example of, young liberal college kids do not have a sense of humor anymore.
God.
And it was the beginning of his like radicalization.
Wow.
I
It's the
fucking
same-
love
Well, then I'm
Seinfeld,
a
the show,
radical.
but this fucking guy, man. Like every time I fucking tell people Seinfeld's the best sitcom of all time, I'm gonna have to say, like, I'm gonna have to put the asterisk on there. Yeah, but Jerry Seinfeld fucking sucks. What the fuck?
What's that called?
I just figured it out.
Yeah, citation.
I mean, Ben Shapiro was a wannabe screenwriter and failed.
Yeah.
Candace Owens had a whole hope and dream of being in Hollywood, if I recall correctly. Who else? You literally go through the list. I know that what's her face? Lauren Boebert, wasn't she trying to be a model or something? Like one of those,
Well,
right?
so many failed actors just go
Go into
that route.
politics.
Kevin Sorbo, the guy that was Superman on Lois and
Oh, yeah.
Clark.
I mean, just even their
Kane.
even their quote unquote
Agreed.
successful cases, like people who actually had a career in the industry, but now like right-wing influencers or talking heads, even they are the bottom of the barrel of like, they're like the Z-list celebrities of Hollywood. They just aren't, even the ones that are good aren't that great.
Hey, I got to do a Jexit. I love you guys.
Okay.
Matt, it was a pleasure
ya.
having you on again.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Sandy.
Bye, guys. Peace.
I'll probably
Bye,
end up doing
everybody
a
in my
Jake
chat.
if we don't quit in the next 15 minutes.
So this
Have a
was
good night, Sandy.
this understandable if you
I love you,
apartheid
Andrea.
to Harry Potter. I think this was in regards to the baby Elon comic strip I was talking about making.
Yep.
Um,
Whoa,
Marvin,
holy shit! What the
man.
fuck is this zoom in?
Pull it back.
Yeah,
Pull it
hold
back.
on.
Check
Oh
together,
Jesus,
Rock.
goddamn Christ! What are we doing
Sorry.
here?
That happens. That
Holy
happens
me off guard.
every single. That happens every single Thursday on Leftist Mafia, because when it's down to 3 people, StreamYard defaults to that really close up column
We got to do
Oh,
something about
yikes.
this.
layout, and it was no
Someone
good.
buy
No,
like 30% of StreamYard stock and just fucking force them to do something about it. It's just not acceptable.
We could do this.
This is
Just
horrible.
kidding. I think Jake is right. My 13-year-old already says that they are the pandemic generation, greatly due to being home for school over a year. Yeah.
I
Weird
had a similar
times.
experience because I had a chronic illness when I was a kid, so I was sick all the fucking time. I stayed home all the time.
this comment from Donald James X. I love you, buddy. Andrea is always fun. Yeah, you just got it. Maybe you're not paying attention. There's no dull moments. with
Former
Andrea.
alcoholic Donald James X is trying to tell me to drink alcohol so that he can live vicariously through me. That's what this is. Member for 22 months. Give me a break.
This show would be so dull without. Come on. It's Bimmerman $4.99. Epic shirt tonight, Matt.
Well, which Matt?
I'm gonna take credit for that. No, I don't know.
I mean, we're both wearing
idea.
wrestling shirts. We're both wearing wrestling shirts.
People were commenting on my post that you were coming on this show, and they were like, "Yay, Matt!" And I was like, "Which one?" They were like, "Both of them." And I was like, "Okay, good answer."
Right? Yeah. Oh, also, I should say, because it's Bimmerman super chat is on my stream. YouTube is letting me know that this is the first ever super chat that It's Bimmerman has ever given any live stream. So thank you. I appreciate.
And it's left past 10.
Yeah, I appreciate you. It's like a double whammy. Both left past. It's your first, and it's on the left past 10 stream, and it's to my channel. So I appreciate it.
Shout out, it's Bimmerman.
I am really dying to know, like, if Emma has any sort of like snarky reaction. If you mentioned that you were on the show tonight, I just can't wait to see. Because this has been going on for a while, and she's like really getting into it. The anti-corporatist. It was a good ebb and flow, Matt. Great to have you, and we should do it more often. Boom. Agreed. Jake has $2. Am I too late for the 11 p.m. crack giveaway? Not tomorrow's.
Not in California. You're not.
This came in at 12:08 a.m. So
not in Montana.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah, it just depends on where you're at.
Just start driving left, buddy.
Dave Marvin again. Wow, $5. Binder, please suggest 3 punk songs for my 13-year-old son to learn on his new bass. I could suggest 3 of those too if you want.
Oh, why don't we hear yours, and then I'll give me a second to think, and I'll.
I actually have a great. How about "Waiting Room" by Fugazi? That's all bass. Yeah, that's a great one. And then "Friend to Friend in the End Time" by Lungfish. Do you know Lungfish, Matt? Out of Baltimore?
Sound familiar. They sound familiar. The name sounds
familiar. Yeah, and then this one's not really punk. I've been listening to a lot of what's the name? Shoot. I can't remember the name. Oh well, maybe
I'm gonna peace out because I gotta use the bathroom, and then I'm
cool.
sure that this show's got like 5 minutes remaining, so it's like kind of weird.
Right,
if I came back.
I know we're talking about.
Well, let's see. That could be an interesting. No, I'm joking. You could go ahead.
All right. Anyway, thank you, Matt, for having the show.
No, it was a pleasure. This was great. I always have a good time.
I wasn't talking to you, motherfucker. Don't. I'm just talking to the real Matt. No, I'm just kidding.
The real.
Thank
Matt.
Both of you. You guys are great.
That was a good one.
I will see you all later.
New Matt, old Matt, real Matt. That doesn't work.
All right, so I'll give my 3. Here we go.
Okay.
Matt, you said it's a 13-year-old learning to play on his new bass. Let's start with an easier and a classic, like a must learn, I guess, for
like
anyone.
A 3-chord song, something really simple.
Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. I mean, it's clear if you're gonna play bass. It's a very simple bass line, and it's a classic, and it's a good one to sort of get the strumming down and get a feel for how you're going to be playing in a punk band. And in terms of like bass lines that are like well known in punk, that I feel like every bassist should learn, just so when they're setting up for a show, that's the bass line they use for the sound check, so everyone can go, "Oh yeah." I'm going to have to go with 500 Channels by Choking Victim. Great bass line. And I'm going to have to go with probably, in my opinion, the greatest punk bass line solo in my favorite at least. Journey to the End of the East Bay by Rancid. That's a classic, that bass line. I mean, I feel like every punk band I've ever seen, when they're getting ready to play and they're doing a sound check, they bust out the Matt Freeman bass line from that song. I mean, you got to know it if you're playing punk bass in a punk band.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. See, we could talk about literally anything on this show. I love it. And if you haven't listened to Lungfish, check them out. Okay.
I will.
Fantastic band. My punk band, Broadcast Cedar, recorded in their studio in Baltimore. It's called Social Services Studio. It was awesome. Looney Tunes 9000, $4.99 super chat. Thanks. Expect a payday tomorrow, Bender, with Ben, though I mod for Lance.
Okay. I'll look forward to the show tomorrow then.
LT9K mods for everyone. I mean, he's all over the place. He'll be modding like 2 or 3 different chats at once. This _Juan, is that how you say that? This Juan?
This
$5?
This one. That's
I think
pretty
that's
good.
this one,
Yeah.
like that one or this one.
Right.
Okay.
I think that's the play on words. Yes.
Do you ever just wonder if the United States is just 53rd world countries in a trench coat held together by a military big enough to defeat God? Yeah.
Oh, I don't wonder. That's the unveil is that it is.
With just leaking cash. And then Prairie Fire again. Matt and Better Matt together again. Oh, wait.
Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. Which is better, Matt?
This is too big. We're going to need like another 1 cent super chat to clarify, please. I would default to you, man. I think that it's awesome having you on the show. You're just being modest, saying, you fizzle out or what. You do not fizzle. You generate better conversation just by being in the room.
Oh, I appreciate that. I enjoyed being here. I enjoyed speaking with you guys. I enjoyed sitting back and listening to you guys when I when I did sit back, because I got this problem where I'm a motor mouth and I can just ramble and ramble and ramble and no one gets a word in because I'm too busy doing a monologue. And then I finish my 20 minutes. I take a deep breath and I go, all right, I'm gonna let everyone else talk now.
Okay, so I play tennis and it's next to pickleball courts. I don't know if you know what pickleball is, but
I've heard a lot about it.
There are people out there who it's like the first sport they've ever played. And they are out there way over the top, yelling and grunting and diving. And it's basically it's like little paddles with a wiffle ball on a small court over a net. And it's either glorified table tennis or very small version of tennis. And I'm like, oh my God, they're so loud. We're trying to play tennis, which is relatively quiet and focused and concentrating. And then I figured it out. I was like, oh yeah, they're really quiet after 15 minutes because they cannot maintain that energy level. It's hilarious because there's generally older folks out there, which is great. Go out there and have fun, be athletic. But they go way too big, too quick.
Way too hard
every time. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm an old person playing pickleball.
No, but expelling energy at the front end isn't bad.
All right.
It's just if you wanted to spread it out, I don't know. There's a strategy there. The letter hack wants the beef to keep going. That's what he's curious about. Emma's response. Exactly, because I get new subs every time. Every time Sam says the letter hack, I'm out to get him or whatever, or acts like he's indignant or whatever toward me, I get subscriptions right away.
Well, I will be able to at least try to facilitate something, because tomorrow, when Emma asks me what's going on Doomed this week, I'm going to say, oh, instead of Doomed this week, I went on Left Past 10 featuring Matt aka Letterhack. And that should spur something, some sort of comment.
And if it doesn't,
then I'll just say, oh, by the way, he said he hates you.
No, he said, cease and desist, be damned.
And I'll try to remember that one. Cease and desist, be damned.
Yeah, they can't. Letterhack kept saying, they can't stop me, or whatever. I won't be silenced by MR. It's up to you. You don't have to say anything. That's the funny
that's
part.
A good one, though. That's a all right. Well, this was a lot of fun. Really, seriously.
Yeah,
anytime you want me back on, I'll be happy to come on. And hopefully, it'll be during a week where we could focus on like 1 or 2 topics, and we don't have to like touch 100 different things in a 2-hour show, because this was quite the week.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen again, but we can try. We can always hope.
Right.
But
so youtube.com/MattBinder, patreon.com/MattBinder, if you could afford to support what I do and help my shows grow. At Matt Binder pretty much everywhere on the internet. Look me up, you'll find me. And I don't want to take up any more of everyone's night. I'm sure you all want to go back and spend your night watching the RNC replay. I know you want to. Some people want to probably lay in bed and drift off to sleep to the beautiful sounds of JD Vance. Have a great night, everyone. And once again, thank you to everyone on the Left Past 10, and especially Letterhack for inviting me.
And thank you for being here. I'll be back here Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, with my guest, Samuel Satin. Jeez, that would be a whole different
I can't
guest.
tell if that. I can't tell if that was on purpose or if that was an actual slip.
It was a slip. Samuel Satin, who has his new manga out, Unico. We'll be talking about that on Monday. It's going to be very cool. It's a big, big deal. Right before he heads to San Diego Comic-Con to blow that whole convention out of the water with his new manga. It is one of the best comics I have read in a long time. I'm going to say the last 10 years, easily. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Wow.
So that's Monday. And then
what's the name? What's the name of the comic?
Unico, which is a very old school.
Can you spell that? UNICO?
Yeah, like unicorn without the R and N.
Is this like it's
like a baby unicorn. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a very old school character that he's brought back. And
wow, he's got backers. He raised a good amount of money to get this out on Kickstarter. Yeah. Wow, good for him.
Yeah, and now it's been picked up, so it's a big deal. And this guy, he's literally written history books on manga and anime. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. He is the authority on this stuff in a lot of ways, so it's going to be fascinating. Wow. And then Wednesday, we're back here with Mike Figueredo. Another
you got Mike on the
Yeah, Mike's gonna be on, and we're working on other guests all the time, so never a dull moment. But Matt, it was sensational having you on here. We'll definitely have you on again before November. Yeah, thanks again for everything, and thanks everyone for watching. We will see you next time.
I don't care what people say, tomorrow is too far away. We can leave and they can stay, cause I for one am never gonna change. Ever since I was a kid, knobby knees and lots of lip, I found it hard to listen when they told me to be quiet and to wait. I think they'd agree that's just not possible for me. I wanna shout, I wanna scream, I wanna dance,